She'll be here soon. Swap clothes with her and no one will be able to tell the difference. Junior brother, I really have to speak up. You can't do this. Little Yi hasn't done anything wrong, shouldn't you consider her feelings? Feng Jai said. I absolutely refuse to be your tool to bully little Yi. I'll stay at a hotel myself. Don't worry, once you meet her, you'll understand. Soon, a small scooter appeared in front of them. Feng Jai looked at the little beauty in front of her, who looked exactly like her reflection in the mirror, feeling entirely embarrassed. Even the 3D mask couldn't hide it. Little Yi, Hello, little Yi proactively extended a hand, giving her a gentle shake and a sweet smile. Feng Jai awkwardly shook hands with her, and suddenly, her heart skipped a beat as she looked at Lin Zaiasu. Did you sense it? She's very strange, Feng Jai said, like a person but not quite. No, I'm certain she's not human. She's a robot, Lin Zaiasu said. Little Yi, swap your coat with her and go stay at the hotel. Okay. The clothes were swapped. Little Yi went to the hotel, and Lin Zaiasu rode on the scooter, taking Feng Jai home. Junior brother, how was she made? Even with the wind in her face, Feng Jai's voice remained uninterrupted. The power of technology, Lin Zaiasu answered simply. I find the people from the outside world terrifying. It seems they can make anything, such fast vehicles, such tall buildings, such smooth roads, and even a beautiful girl. Feng Jai sincerely marveled. Now that you know little Yi's identity, will you still call me a scumbag? I didn't know, did I? I don't understand anything about the outside world. Feng Jai was a bit embarrassed. Hey, when I meet your parents, how should I address them? Call them uncle and auntie, Lin Zaiasu said. There are some things to take care of next. You need to adjust your voice to be similar to little Yi's and learn the most basic ways of interaction. Should we stop and practice these first? The road home took over an hour. Feng Jai had already mastered little Yi's gait and sounded almost identical to her. Thanks to the Peeping Heaven extreme realm ability, true Qi obeyed her will. Concerning rural affairs, Feng Jai was very interested and learned quickly. The scooter arrived home, encountering Second Aunt on their way. Under Lin Zaiasu's telepathic guidance, Feng Jai called out Second Aunt, and Second Aunt nodded ambiguously. Feng Jai was a bit puzzled. Did I address her incorrectly? She seemed a bit unhappy. As long as the etiquette is there, no need to overthink it. He knew why Second Aunt was ambiguous towards little Yi. She always felt little Yi was taking over her family Huya's place. This situation was too complicated, so Lin Zaiasu decided not to elaborate to Feng Jai. The scooter entered the courtyard, and his mother came out to greet them, looking very happy. Feng Jai faced her first challenge. One must say, her skills honed from roaming the Jianghu were solidly grounded. Performing as instructed by Lin Zaiasu, she left no gaps. A person who knew absolutely nothing about this world managed to convincingly portray the feeling of someone who had grown up here. His mother could not have imagined that this daughter-in-law had swapped once again. After lunch, Feng Jai and Lin Zaiasu returned to their room. Senior sister, your acting skills are just like this. Lin Zaiasu gave her a thumbs up. It's all pretend. Inside, I'm actually very nervous, Feng Jai said. When Master and the others come over, I should just stay with them. Actually, this is the best place for now. The best place? Why? Feng Jai frowned slightly. Look over there. Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, pointing out the window to the mountain. There, that's the key point where the folded space opens, and that's the real reason I wanted you to stay here. This room was only about 800 meters in a straight line from Liu Lin Temple. Any unusual activity could be clearly detected by their eyesight and Qi sensing ability while seated in the room. This method of surveillance was both covert and effective. Feng Jai stared at Liu Lin Temple for quite some time. There's something all the major figures in Kun Kang want to ask you, and I'm wondering if it's convenient for you to say. Lin Zaiasu smiled. I know what you're referring to. So is it convenient for you to talk about it? It's okay if it's not. Feng Jai's expression seemed casual, though it was only an appearance. There's no inconvenience. When that butterfly first appeared to me, we were together. Feng Jai's eyes lit up. The question she wanted to ask was the same one that all of Kun Kang wanted to ask, about that butterfly. This butterfly was now the true master of Kun Kang. It appeared on Lin Zaiasu's fingertip. It called Lin Zaiasu Junior brother. No one knew where Lin Zaiasu had found such a senior brother. Except for Feng Jai, she at least knew where they met because when they encountered the butterfly, She happened to be in Luonian heaven with him. The butterfly invited them, leading her and Lin Zaiasu to Two Realms Mountain. In Two Realms Mountain, she learned a technique that combined the essence of nirvana swordsmanship into the reincarnation sword way, other shore flower. Lin Zaiasu told her that his sword intent had broken into Kinghua. But he didn't tell her that he had become a fellow apprentice with this butterfly. This butterfly is an ordinary butterfly. It only appears extraordinary because it carries an attached primordial spirit. This primordial spirit comes from the orphan of the Array sect. This person is inherently proud and doesn't agree with the family-inherited Array path but is infatuated with sword Dao. Renaming himself Jian Wuchen with one long sword and a body full of pride, he dominated the storms, wearing fine clothes, riding fierce horses, and charming the world. A legend from the other world was recounted from his mouth. Feng Jiai's heart was in turmoil. Young and frivolous, following his own path. The sudden change in the homeland, parents perished. The Array sect sacrificed themselves for the path. Sobered up, returned sword in hand, stepping on the blood of the Array sect's elders, treading the tragic path that parents and relatives once walked. Finally, he drew a prison on the ground, pouring his own essence and blood into the Array sect's great array, letting all of himself return to the embrace of his relatives. The abandoned old surname, reclaimed anew. Proclaiming himself the dustless sword, willingly restained with dust. The road he wished to escape as a child, when no one forced him, he chose voluntarily to return, living it with his life. This was the life path of the lone swordsman, who once dominated the storms. This was also the witness of that stormy era. This was the Jian Wuchen of the Array sect back then, and also today's Gu Jian Yaochen of Kun Kang. Back then the dustless represented his grandeur, today's dusty represents the heavy burden on his shoulders. Am I understanding this right? Feng Jai gently breathed out. Yes. He actually cannot leave Kun Kang, Feng Jai said. He told the bigwigs of Kun Kang that he secretly observed the performances of the major figures as his strategy. He hoped these bigwigs would feel his deterrence and thus not be negligent. But today, I tell the truth, he indeed cannot leave Kun Kang. Lin Zaiasu said. You want me to abandon fantasies and face reality? Yes. Reality. Reality is that after the third day of the third month, there could possibly be a proliferation of enlightenment realm as if bamboo shoots after the rain, sprouting endlessly. Yes. There might also appear an enlightenment god realm that can suppress bodily enlightenment giants with just a wave of their hand, and actually beside us, there is no such butterfly. Yes. Feng Jai slowly lifted her gaze. This is also the first time in my life witnessing the manner of an enlightenment god. This kind of terror, can we really face it? The scene in Kun Kang was already deeply etched in her mind. Thinking of the enemy's stance where even the master is, as if an ant when raising a palm, she felt the whole world was bleak. She, Feng Jai, was never a person of weakness. Even though her cultivation was still low at the time, the ever-existing stark white bones throughout 3 cycles of reincarnation seemed to carry innate grandeur. However, the shadow of that one battle in Kun Kang was enough to shatter anyone's grandeur. Lin Zaiasu lifted a hand, poured a cup of tea, and placed the teacup in front of Feng Jai, along with a mysterious smile. Senior sister, you wouldn't dare believe it, but I once single-handedly killed an enlightenment god. Feng Jai's hand lightly trembled, her face full of disbelief. You, alone, are you sure it was an enlightenment god? The venerable Hydra snake has a primordial spirit. I didn't use any help, I killed him. Lin Zaiasu said. Do you know how I killed him? I destroyed his physical body first, then used the subdivine skill to destroy his primordial spirit. The whole process wasn't as difficult as imagined. Feng Jai's eyes flashed with a chaotic light. I seem to know the real reason. The real reason is that the enlightenment god you killed was under this heavenly Tao, and his true self couldn't unleash the enlightenment realm battle power. This heavenly Tao suppresses enlightenment gods even more strongly than it does bodily enlightenment. Lin Zaiasu nodded lightly. That is indeed the case. The venerable Hydra snake possesses a primordial spirit. As long as this primordial spirit is cultivated by himself, he can be equivalent to an enlightenment god. Lin Zaiasu is different. His primordial spirit wasn't cultivated by him. But why was he vulnerable in front of Lin Zaiasu? Why did his actual power fall short to even a 1/10,000th of the Luonian heavenly master? Only because of the environment. This world is unsuitable for the enlightenment realm. Even if he has an enlightenment realm cultivation, he cannot exhibit it. An enlightenment god realm, unable to exhibit enlightenment realm power, is severely fragmented. In terms of true body combat power, it doesn't compare to the invincible Lin Zaiasu under the enlightenment realm. The only hope for a comeback is the primordial spirit. When the primordial spirit could no longer withstand Lin Zaiasu, he lost the ability to crush Lin Zaiasu. Moreover, Lin Zaiasu himself, with both precise and ruthless combat techniques, swiftly obliterated his physical body. Once the physical form was lost, the primordial spirit, even if it didn't sever its roots like a secondary deity, was ultimately significantly weakened. This is the fundamental reason why Lin, when facing Enlightenment God realm experts twice, had different expressions. Feng Jai lightly exhaled. I somewhat understand why you're still full of confidence to this day, because you still believe in this heavenly Tao. However, didn't you also mention that the heavenly Tao changes, and perhaps after the third day of the third month, this heavenly Tao may become suitable for the Enlightenment realm? On that day, any appearing Enlightenment God could be a Luonian heavenly master. Yes. Then please tell me, where does the new source of confidence lie? The recovery of the heavenly Tao takes time, so we can boldly assume that those strange realm experts emerging from folded space will also range from low to high, and the first wave to come out might only reach the level of bodily enlightenment. For bodily enlightenment, we already have certain countermeasures on our side. Currently, Kun Kang has 79 bodily enlightenment entities, which can indeed withstand one wave. But what about later? What if the enlightenment gods come? What about enlightenment rules or even the realm of mastery? Enlightenment God, enlightenment rules, realm of mastery, Lin Zaiasu said. Perhaps we can only borrow a line from an ancient poem. Each generation has its talented persons, each surpassing the previous one. Chapter 582, Chapter 581, Feng Jai's Drop of Blood. Feng Jai quietly watched his profile, gazing at his seemingly perplexed side, and gently sighed. This answer doesn't sound like you. I thought you'd say that you would grow stronger too, and no matter who the enemies are, you turn them all into pigheads. Right as the enemies grow stronger, so will we. For example, you, senior sister, might become a Taoist then. You shout, Nirvana swordsmanship prelude, enemies cease to exist. And then that's it. Feng Jai chuckled. You, stop flattering your senior sister here. I think you'll definitely be stronger than me in the future. Being stronger than her in the future is unlikely. Keeping up with her pace is probably an extravagant hope. Feng Jai still doesn't know that Lin Zaiasu's path has reached its end. At this moment, Lin Zaiasu certainly wouldn't mention it. Facing a great battle, confidence is needed. One can't deny that the Kun Kang's leader left Kun Kang partly out of fear of Gu Jian Yaochen, partly motivated by Lin Zaiasu's array path reward, and largely because they have confidence in him. Confidence at this moment is more important than gold. It's late sleep, Lin Zaiasu said. Sleep. Feng Jai's heart slightly trembled. Being alone in a room with a man, and in the villager's eyes she's still his wife. There's only one bed in the room. You sleep on the bed, I'll meditate, Lin Zaiasu said. This is how little Yi and I used to sleep. Feng Jai rolled her eyes at him. I haven't managed your private life, right? Do you need to act innocent in front of me? This is honestly not acting innocent. It's just purely upholding a standard, Lin Zaiasu said. Heaven as my witness, this is the only thing I can uphold when it comes to conduct issues. Feng Jai chuckled. Stop it, just go to bed. Lin Zaiasu was surprised. Won't this damage your reputation too much, honestly? Now you're considering my reputation. Feng Jai rolled her eyes at him. In Kun Kang, you used my thigh as a pillow for 2 or 3 nights. Did you consider my reputation then? That's different. I was injured at that time. Even if I had bad thoughts, they couldn't turn into bad deeds. As if you could do anything bad tonight. She went straight to bed. Raising her hand, she threw the pillow to the middle, leaving Lin with ample space on the outside. Lin Zaiasu looked at the half-bed clearly left for him, and the prominently placed pillow was a bit bewildering. Really go up. I left you space, so you won't say I'm domineering later when I'm a guest at your place, squeezing you out of where you can sleep. And what's with this pillow? It's a divider line. Dare to cross it and you're an animal. The bed can be slept on, but no stacking. This is the principle. Lin Zaiasu was speechless too and lay down. Lights out. Click. In the dark, both looked at the ceiling, where little bugs seemed to crawl, making their way straight into people's minds. Senior sister. Him. There was once a joke in my world. Go on. It was about two people just like us. The woman separated by a pillow and said, crossing this pillow makes you an animal. And then, the man really didn't cross the line. Isn't that great? Great my ass. The next day, the woman lost it and scolded the man for being worse than an animal. Feng Jai chuckled. Don't worry, I definitely won't scold you for being worse than an animal tomorrow morning. That night the two were very well behaved. The pillow's position was also just right. Feng Jai woke up, looking at Lin Ziasu beside her, giggling, you, worse than an animal. After saying that, she bounced up and flew away. Lin Ziasu gritted his teeth. Dare to go back on your word, I'll become an animal for you tonight. I'll use my other shore flower form and send you straight across the river. How can you be an animal? Feng Jai despised him from the bathroom. Other shore flower. Lin Ziasu was suddenly moved. In Kun Kang Two Realms Mountain, Gu Jian Yaochen once said, when the other shore flower blooms, it takes reincarnation as its foundation. Without understanding the reincarnation law, it's impossible to master it. If you want to learn this move, there's a way. Take a drop of blood from Feng Jai. She has undergone reincarnation for 3 lives, carrying the reincarnation law in her blood. Studying this drop, even just the surface, could still execute the other shore flower move. Senior sister. What's your bad idea now? Want to discuss something with you. Business or mischief? Business. Oh, then wait a bit. Soon she was done tidying up, washed her face, and even the mask seemed to have been cleaned, coming out of the bathroom fresh and ready. Speak. It's a bit hard to say. Feng Jai rolled her eyes. You can bring up becoming an animal, but not business. I see your demeanor, this business is surely not right. What are you saying? This is really serious. I want a drop of your blood. Despite wearing a human mask, the silicone seemed to show a faint blush. Weren't we agreed not to be animals? Don't get it wrong, it's just an ordinary drop of blood, nothing major, right? At most, I'll stew my old hen that lays eggs for you, surely making up for that drop of blood. Feng Jai stared at him for a long while. Just an ordinary drop of blood. Yes, senior sister, what are you thinking? Feng Jai almost wanted to kick him. Thinking what? You tell me what I was thinking. Last night I slept with you, a girl's heart was at a highly sensitive period, and you asked me for a drop of blood. What am I supposed to think? Naturally, I thought of that drop of blood, virgin blood. Forcing her thoughts to collect, Feng Jai gently exhaled. Why do you need a drop of blood? Because my senior brother taught me the other shore flower move too, but I can't start learning it. I need a drop of senior sister's blood to comprehend the reincarnation law in it. Feng Jai was stunned. Her expression was very unnatural. Sister, you don't believe it. I believe, Feng Jai replied. This sword move indeed requires the reincarnation law as the foundation, and my drop of blood can indeed support this move. Talking to a cultivation prodigy is different. Something so hard to explain only needs a hint for you to fully accept it. Lin Ziasu was happy. Sister, are you willing? Feng Jai sat down, sitting at the bedside, silent for a long time, her hair gently flowing, showing the intense turmoil in her heart. Lin Ziasu's doubts grew heavier. Sister. With a swish, Feng Jai's hand rose and covered his mouth. Lin Ziasu finally saw the eyes she had been avoiding, filled with a multitude of emotions. Really want it? 4 words, very gentle, softly spoken, yet filled with emotional support. I see you seem troubled. If it's really difficult, then consider I said nothing. It's not really trouble, I'm actually, willing, but any woman facing this moment, there will be some agitation. Sister, did you misunderstand? Lin Ziasu felt once again a communication gap. What does it mean, any woman facing this moment? No, you misunderstood, Feng Jai said. The drop of blood on me that can participate in reincarnation is not just any drop, but that drop. That drop. The place of origin, the intersection of yin and yang, the first blood, the first root, the beginning of reincarnation. Feng Jai uttered 16 words. Lin Ziasu was stunned. The reincarnation road is very mystical. It emphasizes that life, from the moment of birth, is a reincarnation. Thus, that initial drop of blood in the channel of life merges yin and yang, aligns with the secret techniques of reincarnation, that is the seed of reincarnation, that can allow one to comprehend the reincarnation law. It is not just any drop of blood on her. Sister, I didn't know. I really didn't know. Lin Zaiasu sweated. Consider I said nothing. He bounced up, intending to run away. However, just as his waist straightened, his hand was grabbed. Sister, I've already said I'm willing and you still want to run. Feng Jai glared at him fiercely. Then what should I do? I don't care how you do it, but if you run, you're worse than an animal. Then really become an animal. SSS. Feng Jai raised her hand. A wisp of strong wind flicked out. The curtain fell down. The room instantly became dark. You little foe, really a nemesis. Feng Jai sighed softly. Her body moved into his arms. Half an hour. An hour. Feng Jai's eyes slowly opened. They were infinitely complex at this moment, with disarray after frenzy, surprise, and more shyness. Lin Zaiasu's eyes also slowly opened, with surprise in them as well. A drop of blood softly rotated in the danchan, carrying endless mysteries. It seemed to resonate with the primordial spirit in the sea of consciousness. The move, Red Spider Lily Blooms, was like a genuine red spider lily, unlocking layer by layer. Husband, comprehend it slowly. 6 words gently spoken from Feng Jai's mouth. Husband, Lin Zaiasu's heart skipped a beat. Anyway, you did the deed. Owning up means being a husband. Deserting means being an animal. Decide if you want to be a husband or an animal yourself. Feng Jai smiled slightly, bounced, and went into the bathroom. In the bathroom, water gushed forth, washing away the traces of past frenzy. It also seemed to flow to fill her reincarnation road. In 3 lifetimes of reincarnation, she remembered many things, but there was no such memory. Is this my first experience on the reincarnation road? Feng Jai gently caressed her increasingly beautiful waist. Suddenly, her gaze was attracted to the mirror. Amidst the steam, revealed in the mirror was her true face, making Feng Jai tremble all over. The 3 reincarnation seals on her face, one was twisting, the one on her left cheek slowly faded, just like a kite ready to drift away. Drip. A drop of water landed on this reincarnation seal. This reincarnation seal completely retreated into deep space. Her sea of consciousness trembled, revealing this reincarnation seal. The wave in Feng Jai's heart soared 100 meters high. The 3 reincarnation seals represent 3 regrets in 3 cycles of life. When the regrets are gone, the reincarnation seal transforms and the law becomes self-formed. She had always wanted to know what regrets were on her reincarnation road, but alas, her memories were scattered and she couldn't recall. Not even knowing the specific regrets, let alone resolving them. And today, 1 reincarnation seal disappeared. Having completed the transformation path from the flesh to the spirit platform. Could it be that one of my regrets in these 3 reincarnations was not finding a man? Otherwise, why did just a moment of intimacy promote the transformation of a reincarnation seal? What are the other 2 regrets? At this moment, there's probably really no way to unveil it, only to comprehend the primordial spirit as soon as possible. However, comprehending the primordial spirit is extremely difficult. She had been standing on the peak-level seer realm for so long, yet unable to touch the edge of enlightenment realm. At this moment, she suddenly had a peculiar discovery. Her body seemed to have changed, as if a certain force filled with endless vitality. This life force filled her whole body, quietly eliminating any disharmony. The connections between meridians seemed more cohesive, before needing full concentration to connect with 9 heavenly stars. But at this moment, it was done naturally. Upon careful sensing, Feng Jai was stunned. Oh dear, is it the life law? It's him. His seed entered her body, and that trace of life law allowed her to vaguely touch a hint of great perfection at the high platform of Peeping Heaven Extreme Realm. The life law and the reincarnation law are the most compatible laws. Because reincarnation originates from life, and life eventually steps into reincarnation, the 2 circulate, thereby creating endless life, lacking 1 link, and the reincarnation road is not complete. Countless fragments of the Tao realm arose from the bones and returned to the spirit platform within the sea of consciousness. Feng Jai, standing in front of the mirror, seemed to have stepped into enlightenment with a single step. Chapter 583. Chapter 582, 3rd day of the 3rd month. In the following half-month, the Lin family experienced a different atmosphere. Atmosphere is something mysterious, hard to describe, hard to explain, yet it can be felt. The old couple of the Lin family are definitely not sensitive people, but they also sense the change in the family's atmosphere. Previously, the relationship between their son and little Yi seemed both normal and abnormal. It appeared very gentle, definitely not quarrelsome, but not particularly intimate either. Their son rarely stayed at home, always claiming to be busy with work, resting for a day or two at most, and then disappearing for months. Although little Yi always wore a smile, showing no emotional fluctuations, the old couple were quite worried. Why was this couple so different from other couples? Now it has normalized. Their son stayed at home for half a month already. Little Yi clung to him every day. The two began to have playful banter and frolics. Whenever there was a grain of rice on their son's clothes, little Yi would brush it off for him, even in front of the old couple. This natural intimacy was undeniable, with their eyes meeting and occasional gestures fully demonstrating how happy she was with their son. Even if during this period little Yi didn't cook or do laundry, the old couple was happy. They certainly did not know that this change was for one reason. This little Yi was not the real little Yi. Feng Jai couldn't cook, nor could she do laundry. Her intimacy with Lin Ziasu was because she was experiencing for the first time this wonderful feeling, so beautiful in its supreme form that it naturally revealed itself. This was not acting. On the contrary, she was trying hard to suppress her soaring emotions. In half a month, the world outside had become tumultuous. Under the hidden dragon order, measures invisible in peaceful times were meticulously deployed and fully implemented. Groups of giants from Kun Kang emerged one after another. In the Wuxiang Temple, the Qianlong flying car was on standby 24 hours a day, secretly sending these people to designated locations. On February 28th, Ding Ruishui came out of Kun Kang. She had already broken into the observing heaven realm. The first heavenly star had brilliantly ascended the sky. Master, are we going to Fengcheng? No, the mission we received is to go to the South Sea. Li Chushui sighed heavily. Living for 1,000 years, named after water all my life, yet I have never seen the real ocean. Master, let me tell you, once you get to the sea, you'll definitely be like a dragon entering the sea. No matter the countless enemies, you could eliminate them with a single strike. What do you mean? Li Chushui detected something in her flattering words. You don't mean to dump the mess in the South Sea on me and desert the post yourself, do you? Ding Ruishui indeed had this bit of selfish intention. Her husband was in Fengcheng, and she hadn't seen him for a month. She missed him so much. She really wanted to go to Fengcheng to fight with him. Whether serious or not, she didn't differentiate. But since the master directly pointed it out, she decided to change her mind. How could I? Impossible, it's master's first time in this world, so beautiful yet knowing nothing. How could I possibly leave master? I'll stay by master's side, blocking the inappropriate intentions of outside men towards master. You, Li Chushui gently patted her shoulder, as light as a touch. Behind her was her biological daughter Li Bingxin. Li Bingxin watched her mother, and this disciple's close interaction, feeling a bitter taste in her stomach. She had once been the holy daughter of Chunshui Palace, the first among the second-generation disciples that could never be shaken. However, one wrong step led to the upheaval in Chunshui. Although her mother showed mercy and didn't kill her as a sacrifice, she also forever lost her place in her mother's heart, prompting her to slowly mature, become low-key restrained, which had been her effort over the past year. Today was also a big day at Qianlong headquarters. 17 heavenly kings gathered beneath the hidden dragon pillar, their expressions solemn. The hidden dragon pillar, an iron blue color, its backdrop the great Zia's map of 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers. This hidden dragon pillar was the sea-calming divine needle of the 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers. The light dimmed, plunging the whole hall into darkness. Suddenly starlight rose, rising upon the hidden dragon pillar, a name shone. Li Yunlong, first-generation hidden dragon king, gave his life in service. Du Sanyu, first-generation hidden dragon king, gave his life in service. Li Yue, first-generation Qianlong gold medal, though not a king, had unparalleled merit, gave his life in service. Oshanshan Jun Yue Wangfeng Dinglu, from the first generation of hidden dragon to the current 7th generation. The names of the martyrs seem to bring historical dust before the current 17 heavenly kings. As the names of the martyrs finished, the sky appeared as a galaxy of 10,000 miles. On the high platform, gentle lights cast down, an elder gazed up at the stars. He was the chief Long of the current generation. Millions of bones beneath 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers, One generation of souls, Chief Long slowly lowered his head. This generation of hidden dragon born in the most perilous era faces a crisis far beyond that of the previous 6 generations. However, it is also the best of times, because only passion can nurture loyal souls, only a great furnace can forge a mighty weapon. Swish! The 17 heavenly kings simultaneously raised their hands. Facing the high platform, facing the 10,000 miles of mountains and rivers behind Chief Long, they saluted. Orders, Chief Long said. Blood trace Zhu Feng thunder. The 9 great heavenly kings head to South Sea, plan number 1. Yes, 9 people step forward. Orders, Blue Demon Gale Miao Yin. The 7 great heavenly kings head to the southern border, plan number 3. Yes. Orders, Bai Shui Brain King station at the center, coordinating all sides, adjust deployment as needed. Yes. The 3rd of March, known among the people as the day Ghost Gates open, and this March 3rd shows signs that the Ghost Gates will indeed open. Qianlong's sharp sword, specialized in cutting down evil spirits. No matter what kind of ghost, it shall be slain with one strike. In this battle, anyone who dies in combat with gold medal or above, their name will be engraved on the hidden dragon pillar, while those below the gold medal will have their name on the hidden dragon steel. Eternal glory, forever remembered. The Heavenly King team took their orders and departed. The 17 heavenly kings of Qianlong, without exception, headed to the battlefield. Even the Brain King, who was not famed for combat prowess, had his battlefield, coordinating from the central hub. This was unprecedented in the history of Qianlong. Everyone from the hidden dragon hall set out, the lights on the high platform gradually brightening. Chief Long turned his head slowly, and behind him was an elderly figure. Chief Long, you haven't made arrangements for Feng Cheng, the old man said. 17 heavenly kings, basically split in half between the South Sea and the southern border. Feng Cheng had no heavenly king assigned to it. Chief Long smiled slightly. Feng Cheng doesn't need a heavenly king. Having him alone is better than several heavenly kings. Besides, I also arranged for him someone better than a heavenly king, the Qianlong gold medal number 49. The old man gently scratched his head. You have that much confidence in him. Okay, considering his combat strength, perhaps he's really not inferior to any heavenly king. But still, with just him and number 49, their strength is relatively thin. Moreover, based on various analyses, the danger in Feng Cheng surpasses both the southern border and the South Sea. Don't forget, Feng Cheng always has the red flag. Red flag? The old man looked puzzled. This is the part I don't understand. Feng Cheng having the red flag is almost common knowledge at the Qianlong headquarters, and Chief Long, you acknowledge it too, but I've looked into the whereabouts of all red flags, and no one is stationed in Feng Cheng. I'm beginning to suspect, Chief Long, that you are performing an empty city plan. This old man held an unusual status. Others had no authority to check the whereabouts of the red flags, but he did. After searching, he got himself confused. All red flags were in place, but none were working in Feng Cheng. If the data wasn't deceptive, Chief Long was orchestrating an empty city strategy. Chief Long, how dare you do this? What if something really happens at their home, and the red flag is just an empty city trick? What would Lin Ziaosu think? Chief Long laughed. There are 2 types of red flags. One kind is officially recorded, but there's another type of red flag not included in the Qianlong roster, not recorded in the Qianlong register, and not receiving a Qianlong stipend. Unofficial red flag. The old man's eyes widened in disbelief. There is someone in Feng Cheng who volunteered to be a red flag for 10 years, and this year marks the 10th year. Until the new year arrives, his mission will not be dismissed. The old man took a deep breath. Is he strong? As I see it, he's not strong. But Taoist Lu Yun expended a great deal of effort and used unconventional means to bring him in. Taoist Lu Yun. The old man's face changed. The tumult from the outside world did not reach Old Tashan village. Lin Ziaosu was deeply engaged in comprehending the reincarnation law and was beginning to see results. With a light swoosh, a red spider lily bloomed, and the 2 inside his room suddenly seemed to be worlds apart. Everything in the room at that moment seemed indeterminate between reality and illusion. Feng Jai sprang up. Husband, we did it. With a flip of Lin Ziaosu's hand, all of the mysterious mechanism law beneath his sword was collected. The room returned to its original state, unscathed. His hand extended out to hold Feng Jai. We must thank senior sister for this drop of blood. That drop of blood held a special significance between the two. Feng Jai hooked her fingers around his neck, her eyes flowing like honey. I've actually made progress too. Oh, you've made progress too. Yes, you've been leaving it in me each day, Feng Jai explained to him. This explanation, spoken plainly, would need to be censored. In simple terms, it's that Lin Zios is different from people who practice ordinary rejuvenation secret techniques. His essence carries the mystical law of life, which is continuously nourished onto Feng Jai, allowing her to experience the fusion of reincarnation and life law. She had already vaguely touched the boundary of the enlightenment realm, and with time, she might break into the enlightenment realm in one step. Lin Ziasu was dumbfounded. Does this mean I accidentally cultivated a giant of the enlightenment realm? You're crude, Feng Jai groaned, twisting her waist into satisfaction. This twist held endless charm, causing Lin Ziasu's heart to stir slightly. Senior sister, take off the mask. We haven't properly kissed yet. With a silicone mask in between, kissing faced an obstacle. So this was indeed true. Ah, no, Feng Jai suddenly dashed away. But Lin Ziasu caught her by the waist. You didn't let me see before I conceded to you. Now you belong to me. We play around many times a day, yet still not letting me see. That's too much, huh? No way, pants off is okay, but taking off the mask is absolutely impossible. Senior sister's previous logic was to not scare kids. Now you surely know I'm no longer little. Good senior sister, let me secretly take a look. Why do you have to see? Feng Jai became anxious. For the convenience of kissing. Then I'll roll up the mask a little from the chin, for you to kiss. Said and done, she carefully unfolded the mask from the chin area, with a caution like that used on solid rocket fuel, exposing a little for Lin Ziasu to savor her lips. Lin Ziasu was left speechless. Chapter 584, Chapter 583, to Liu Lin Temple researching the fissure. Feng Jai, without fulfilling his desires in one aspect, made up for it in another by teasing him in broad daylight. She let him nap with soup and water, then snuggled in his arms to praise him. Husband, many people say you're quite the playboy, but I actually find your character to be one in a million, especially pure-hearted, really. Lin Ziasu was surprised. Actually, that day when I shook hands with little Yi, I checked her body. Her membrane was still intact. Feng Jai felt sentimental. Even though she is a robot, her body is no different from a human's. An average person would have poked her into a beehive long ago, but husband didn't lay a finger on her. This shows that you are very principled in this regard. You're really one in a million in this world. Senior sister, how about praising me for something else? Lin Ziasu felt a little guilty. Okay, you're extremely handsome. You're exceptionally smart. And if you promise me not to mess around, I can even tell you, you're especially fun in bed. My heavens, Lin Ziasu said. Don't think I'm too perfect. A woman might just come looking for me any moment now. Who? As soon as the words fell, the phone by the bedside pinged with a message alert. Lin Ziasu stretched out his hand to grab it. Feng Jai leaned over. It's really a woman's name. Check out what she's saying. Lin Ziasu hesitated a little. He almost predicted how blunt this message would be. Was definitely different from normal women. She could say anything. If Feng Jai saw it, wouldn't it shatter her illusions about Lin Ziasu's false image? All right, I am just that kind of scumbag. Trying to whitewash will eventually be exposed. I'll just show you directly, to spare you any unrealistic hopes in me. Lin Ziasu opened it calmly. Sure enough, the message was spicy. I just arrived at Liu Lin Temple, coming over to study the crack on the blue stone. The crack on the blue stone. What blue stone? The bed her dad sleeps on. The first time the two of them played bumper cars, Huya got so excited, the blue stone cracked. That's Huya for you, always so fierce. Feng Jai looked serious. You have to go, this is important business. Huh? Feng Jai gently pushed. It's getting close to March 3rd, any clues can't be overlooked. The crack on the blue stone is no trivial matter. You go quickly and study it well. My master is arriving soon too. I have to pack up and meet with my master tonight. Let little Yi come back. Crack. To her, interpreting it sent a formal signal. Lin Ziasu's eyes gently shifted. I can't bear to leave you, senior sister. Little rascal, are you trying to charm me to death? Feng Jai snuggled closer. The silicone skin on her chin peeled back a little, and she gave him a sweet kiss. Then she gently pushed him. Lin Ziasu got out of bed, dressed, and called little Yi. However, it was still a case of splitting up to act. Lin Zaiasu headed to Liu Lin Temple to check Huya's crack. Oh no, the crack on the blue stone. Feng Jai packed her things. The next step was to transform back into the demon-faced witch and meet up with her master. And little Yi, poor thing, returned home overnight to clean up the mess left by their chaotic days together. If she were human, if she didn't burn the house down, it would be considered very broad-minded. Still expecting her to tidy up the messed-up bed, fat chance. But of course she wasn't that type. There are signs that the upcoming little Yi would once again be the little Yi everyone was familiar with. As for Lin Zaiasu, as the sun sets, he left home, walked along the village road and headed to Liu Lin Temple. Halfway up the hill, he encountered his second uncle coming down. Second uncle saw him and was delighted. Did Diane call you? Yeah. They're going to shoot a movie over at Liu Lin Temple. The county also called me and told me I don't need to stay at the temple. It's just the right time for me to take a few days off. Shooting a movie. Yeah, it's supposed to be called something like Immortal Sword Part 7 or 8. The people in charge also told me to tell the villagers that if they hear any strange noises or see anything unusual, don't panic. It's just filming. Have the crew arrived yet? Seems like they've arrived in the county already. Filming officially starts tomorrow. Second uncle said, Diane's coming back to keep an eye on things, just in case. Lots of hands around, you know. Although I don't think there's much to steal from a temple, right? Yeah, but Huya's just being considerate. You and second aunt can have a nice reunion. Second uncle beamed with joy. I'll head back first. With long strides, he happily returned home. There are signs that tonight, second uncle and second aunt's little courtyard might see a flurry of activity before March 3rd. And Lin Zaiasu reached Liu Lin Temple. The Liu Lin Temple remained quiet. In the temple, Huya was wearing the dragon eye, sitting on a blue stone. When Lin Zaiasu arrived, Huya took off the dragon eye and threw herself into his arms, holding his head with both hands smack. You're back too. Entering Qianlong, our aim is to protect our hometown. Although everyone says, protect everyone, not just your own family, I am just not enlightened enough, so what? I must return to Old Tashan and let those who cross the line taste my iron fist. Let's first check the situation. What situation could I check? There's an order from above, I have to follow you. You are the chief commander of the Fengcheng defense line. All right then, I've basically prepared everything here. We'll carry out specifics tomorrow. And tonight, Huya's eyes showed obvious color. Tonight, haven't you already confirmed the research subject? Study your cracks. My goodness, that's too dirty, too shameless, too direct. Come on. Day passed, and another day passed. Lin Zaiasu finally witnessed scenes only seen in movies. The skyscrapers of Fengcheng, traffic flowing endlessly. In the forests surrounding Liu Lin Temple, countless people dressed in ancient clothes. Led by Hua Maioi, 13 giants of the Enlightenment realm behind them, 107 observing heaven, 546 observing earth. These people did not show the gallantry of stepping on treetops when they were in Kun Kang, because it wasn't time to reveal their skills. Everyone still needed to act, to avoid causing unnecessary turmoil. This was Qianlong's arrangement. The situation on the 3rd day of March could be very special. It was a prediction made by only a few people. It was not verified accurately. If it's just a false alarm, there's no need to incite public panic. Therefore, necessary preparations were abundant. But before truly exposing, keep a low profile as much as possible. On the left platform in Valley are the cultivators. On the right is Qianlong. Numerous Qianlong gold medals have arrived. Qianlong flying cars are currently on standby outside the mountain. The list has been completely delivered to Lin Zaiasu's Dragon Eye. In this action, he is the chief commander of the Fengcheng defense line. Everyone follows the orders, including Qianlong and also including Kun Kang. Dear seniors, dear Qianlong, this action is very special. The most special thing is that we don't know what kind of mutation will occur on the 3rd day of March, so every day ahead of us represents a new domain. The crowd was silent. Lin Zaiasu said, although the domain is new, our mission remains the same. Foreign invaders, we will crush them with force, even if we die, even if our spirits disappear, it is our choice. Yes, Qianlong responded in unison, standing at attention. Behind me is my hometown where I grew up. My parents can see from here. Although they are already old, they are still full of passion for life. I cannot abandon them. You all actually feel the same. Qianlong's mission, death is no impediment. Qianlong members roared in unison. This is the soldier's dominance. This is the soldier's tenacity. Although cultivators are far from soldiers, many cultivators were also infected. Lin Zaiasu looked at this group of cultivators. You are all seniors on the cultivation path. There may be no relatives in this world, but you need to understand one principle. If the lips perish, the teeth will feel the cold. The land beneath our feet is connected to Kun Kang. Protecting Daxia is also safeguarding your kin in Kun Kang. Exactly, Hua Maioi said. In Kun Kang I have neither children nor relatives, but over 1,000 years, the 3,000 disciples of Shenghua Valley are my closest kin. I do not want foreign enemies to break through. I do not want my kin to be enslaved. Everyone should feel the same. This is the reason. Yes, a sect master beside her said. In these years I've constantly been thinking of the ancient array sect, where the 81 elders formed an array with their lives to block the path from ancient wilderness to Kun Kang. Why did they do that? It was to build this defense line for Kun Kang. If the outside world is breached, this defense line will be meaningless. Lin Zaiasu said, you may not know, but the ancient array sect still has descendants. Hua Maioi was slightly surprised. Her first thought was, could Lin Zaiasu be a descendant of the ancient array sect? I suppose you all remember the butterfly from that day, Lin Zaiasu said. It is the only descendant of the ancient array sect when it was young. The life story of Gu Jian Yaochen, intertwined with the winds and clouds, was portrayed through his words. All cultivators present were shaken. Cultivators may not talk about discipline, but they also value passion. Gorgeous clothing and steeds gallop through Jianghu. A flick of the sharp sword stirs the winds and clouds, killing all enemies without rival. This is the Jianghu dream of many men. However, Gu Jian Yaochen, with such cultivation in the most glorious moment of his life, resolutely abandoned his pursuit of freedom and returned to the ancestral land, confining himself within a circle, injecting his essence into the great array, defending his ancestors' legacy, upholding the dignity of the array sect. This kind of tragic heroism on the cultivation path, for the first time, moved this group of cultivators. It let them understand, what is the cultivation path, what is responsibility, what is righteousness. I once saw a book in the underground bridge realm which left a question. In the past, heaven, earth, and humans vied for dominance. The heavenly Tao was strong, the earth Tao was thick, and the human path was weak. Why is it that eventually the heavenly Tao was destroyed, the earth Tao sealed, and the human path rose? This question has puzzled cultivation paths for tens of thousands of years. I can now provide an answer, because the human path has emotion, because the human path has responsibility. Though the human path is weak, it can unite everyone's hearts, generation after generation, passing the torch. I hope that starting today, we implant a belief in our hearts. Even if heaven and earth collapse, the human path will prevail. Even if heaven and earth collapse, the human path will prevail. The cultivators roared in unison. Even if heaven and earth collapse, the human path will prevail. The Qianlong people also roared. The atmosphere of battle was completely ignited by this point. Lin Zaiasu completed the pre-war mobilization, integrating for the first time two utterly disparate forces. Chapter 585. Chapter 584. True Yuan usable in the Enlightenment realm. Huya's nose was all red. She was so excited. She thought her man was really amazing. He ran the detective agency and could investigate cases, but driving her bumper car could make her so excited that even stones cracked, and with a raise of his hand, he could destroy top crime syndicates. Now, with just a few words, a bunch of gods on the cultivation path have gone crazy. Where's Fengjai? Also somewhat dazed. Currently, no one knows. She's already done that with him. Only she herself knows. This man, how is he so adorable? Tomorrow is the 3rd day of the 3rd lunar month. Hopefully she won't die. She's a reincarnation body. Even if she dies, she might still reincarnate and come back someday. But can the next reincarnation find a man like him? Certainly not. How about not dying then? This lifetime, be passionately in love with him until the end of time. Meanwhile, on a warship in the South Sea, Li Chushui gazed at the waves beneath his feet. Ruishui, how is he doing over there? Master, don't worry about him. He's surely the most relaxed among our 3 special forces teams. You, just because he is your man, you trust him like this. Li Chushui glanced sideways at her. You don't even know which of these 3 places will face an unbeatable threat. What are you talking about? Even before he became my man, he was already amazing. Ding Ryushui's eyes sparkled, making her extraordinarily beautiful at this moment. And at this moment, in the southern border, Conch Valley, Blue Demon led a large group of heavenly kings behind her. To her left was Liu Sanqian, also accompanied by a bunch of Enlightenment Realm experts. Regarding the Enlightenment Realm, they were arranged according to Lin Ziyasu's plans. The arrangement for the Enlightenment Realm fully reflected individual cultivation traits. Those suited for the seaside were placed in the South Sea. Those suited for the mountains and forests were arranged in the southern border. On his side there were only 13 people, 79 Enlightenment Realm experts. He only chose a sixth. To Blue Demon's right, there was someone who seemed somewhat out of place with everyone else. She was Yixiang. Beside Yixiang were two small animals, Little Hu like a small dog and Little Wu, the snow-white turtle. There were also a few young people, standing out like cranes among old masters. Lu Rusi in these wild mountains was like a graceful lady. Lu Rufeng, like a young Jianghu hero in splendid attire, riding angrily deep into the forest. And one other, Gushi. Gushi had arrived too, without any invitation. He came because he promised his sister. Sister is in the southern border, so I will guard the southern border. The third day of the third lunar month. At dawn, the wind rose, blowing down the last flowers on Old Tashin. Lin Ziyasu stepped out of Liu Lin Temple because another old acquaintance had arrived. A beauty came from miles away, smiling in the morning breeze, seemingly dispelling the full sky of clouds. Dawa, Lin Ziyasu greeted her. Brother, tonight is the third day of the third lunar month. I checked. The moon on the third is called the crescent moon, though small. It will gradually grow bigger and brighter. You've already shone brightly, Lin Ziyasu smiled. As you said, in future nights you won't be able to not see me. Her voice abruptly stopped as she saw the familiar demon-faced witch Fengjai. Seeing a familiar person made Dawa's somewhat indulgent expression immediately restrained. She hurriedly went up to greet little sister Zio Yi. Little Yi, Huya was puzzled. Aren't you called Fengjai? Cough, nickname, Fengjai said. Who is that? Fengjai's finger pointed towards the mountain. This gesture, Lin Ziyasu naturally thought she was trying to divert attention in her embarrassment, but when he cast his gaze downwards, he laughed. This mountainside, the trees all seemed to come alive all at once. A blonde beauty, walking gracefully among the trees like an angel. In terms of speed alone, she's not the fastest, but this step that makes all the trees around instantly grow miles is such a sublime move that even Hua Maoi couldn't stop admiring. Let me introduce, this is an international friend, Catherine. At this moment, it was the day of the third lunar month. This was probably the last bit of serenity. The sun sets in the west, stars fill the sky. Dawa spoke of that crescent moon rising from the clouds. Everyone turned tense with anticipation. Midnight is the final deadline. Lin Ziyasu sat cross-legged on the platform outside Liu Lin Temple. Before him, in the void, was the holographic projection of Tashin. 80 points, all surrounding monitoring. Every slightest movement of wind and grass was under his control. All around, Qianlong gold medal cultivators closely watched. As midnight approached, mountain winds gently rustled. The second hand seemed to move towards the final brink at a suffocating pace. Lin Ziyasu looked down the mountain. His parents had gone to sleep, but there was light from his window. His heavenly Tao wisdom eye pierced 800 meters. He saw Zio Yi withdrawing her finger from the socket, her spirit and energy at this moment completely different from usual. She replenished her energy, ready to join the battle anytime. Her programs were all designed by Chang Yi. She was fighting alongside him. But what about the designer himself? Chang Yi was still asleep. Her path to nirvana was extremely long. Nearly half a year had passed, and she still hadn't awoken. Lin Ziyasu gazed at the stars, a deep sigh in his heart. I told you, I'm waiting for you to return within the mortal world. You will eventually return. Yet I may not be able to wait for you in this mortal world. If one day, when you awaken from slumber yet can no longer find me here in this mundane realm, would you feel the whims of fate? Suddenly the earth trembled slightly. At this precise moment, the second hand ticked to midnight. Liu Lin Temple, thick fog suddenly rose. In front of Lin Ziyasu, a rift opened. Just like the scene he and Huya witnessed last year on the first day of the Lunar New Year. The difference was, last year's scene was just a fleeting glimpse. Today, the rift was fully opened. Lin Zaiasu looked over, and the abyss seemed bottomless, filled with countless silver figures the size of oxen. The silver wave was like a torrent of steel, giving the impression of facing an endless army of tanks in the real world. Huya's face slightly changed. She had a premonition, because she had seen this scene with her own eyes. Seen last year on the first day of the Lunar New Year. Even ate a silver mountain bay. That silver mountain bay was just a cub. She couldn't deal with it at the time, and Lin Zaiasu had to use the earth-falling beast scale to kill it. But today's full abyss beast was as big as an ox, and the silver on its body was especially deep, indicating it was an adult. Could today's battle really end well? Huya had never feared anyone. But today she felt somewhat worried, not afraid of dying, but fearing that the mission wouldn't be completed. Luckily, as she glanced over, Lin Zaiasu's face was calm. Her man was very confident, just go for it. Suddenly, a voice full of surprise echoed, "There is a change in the Qi connections." This was the voice of Li Dachuan, sect master of Li Yuan sect. "The power of the Enlightenment realm can be used," declared Li Changjiang, sect master of Dong Lai sect joyfully. Hua Maioi moved her body, and her true essence body reached over 100 feet away. She sighed lightly. Indeed, it can be used, but it's not a good signal. Yes, everyone understood. The ability to use Enlightenment Realm true essence meant their top-level battle force could fully exert its power. However, it also marked the true beginning of the great change in the world. This heavenly Tao began to connect with the other world, allowing experts from that world to come over. And so, that was Hua Maioi's point. Being able to exercise Enlightenment Realm power isn't really good news. Li Changjiang laughed heartily. Being able to use Enlightenment Realm power means we can easily slaughter this fierce beast abyss. It has both advantages and disadvantages. His body suddenly expanded to 100 feet, and his giant palm rose like a towering presence. At this moment, their true essence transformation was limited to just 100 feet simply because they were at the edge of two realms, and the Qi connections were rapidly adjusting, not yet reaching a full conversion. True essence transformation was usable but had limitations. "Master Li, do not act recklessly," Lin Zaiasu said. Li Changjiang's palm hovered in the void, somewhat puzzled. Lin Zaiasu said, "A strike from the true essence giant palm would cause landslides and ground collapses, and it's impossible to kill all the Silver Mountain Bay. They would flee underground, causing an unbearable loss to this world." Li Changjiang's expression changed. He realized that Lin Zaiasu was right. The power of the Enlightenment Realm could indeed destroy everything, but when used against the beasts of the abyss, it could only achieve a general destruction, unable to be precise. With one strike, mountains collapse and the earth splits. Maybe only a few Silver Mountain Bay would be killed. The rest would be buried under fallen stones. These beasts wouldn't die easily. And below the mountain, the fourth realm was so fragile that even a single escaped Silver Mountain Bay could easily destroy the villages below. This is the fundamental difference between battles of cultivators and battles of the Qianlong. Cultivators can disregard common people, but Qianlong cannot. "Special Attack Unit 1, Lin Zaiasu ordered. Present." In the void, 36 points appeared. Correct coordinates in real time. Ensure alignment at all times, waiting for the abyss to fully open. Yes. The abyss expanded rapidly, and 36 flying cars quickly adjusted their positions. Each flying car carried 4 individuals. 2 Qianlong gold medals, 2 cultivators. Qianlong was responsible for positioning, and cultivators were responsible for activating the array at any moment. In the array path, dating back 10,000 years, there probably was never such an arrangement. Cultivators and high technology were perfectly unified. All because the abyss was still opening, making it impossible to set up an array. Forcing an array setup would be pulled out of position by the opening of folded space. Once out of position, the array cannot form. Commander, Team 5 requests entry for detection. Suddenly, with a swish, a Qianlong gold medal landed beside Lin Zaiasu with the code number 8. Gold medals ranked in the top 10 had high status and power, yet they took orders from Lin Zaiasu at this moment. "Not needed, I have something better," Lin Zaiasu said. With a swish, a dark shadow sliced through the air. Wing blade, number 8's eyes opened wide in shock. Even though it was just a fleeting glimpse, number 8's sharp vision still caught that it was a wing blade slicing through the air. Wing blade, the hidden dragon divine artifact. famous for slaying Earthcore Fourth Realm with force, renowned worldwide. He actually had one in his possession. With Wing Blade crossing the emptiness, another phantom appeared before Lin Zaiasu. It was his interpretation console based on the array, seeing what Wing Blade saw. As folded space opened, immediate internal detection was crucial. However, not all probes would be effective. Because the space inside was still in a chaotic state, impossible to pinpoint, modern instruments would go in blindly. Only Wing Blade, which was not modern technology but an ancient puppet controlled by arrays, could correctly record and transmit the internal images. Everyone saw. This valley was not the end. Beyond it, dense jungle stretched. Wing Blade darted through the jungle like lightning, and suddenly, Lin Zaiasu's heart skipped. A towering mountain. Numerous buildings atop the mountain. Above the gate, three ancient characters, Heiyuan sect. Chapter 586, Chapter 585, Improved Yin-Yang Reversal Array. Heiyuan sect, Feng Jai exclaimed, it's a sect and quite a sizable one at that. Having a sect involved is troublesome, Hua Maioi said. If it were just fierce beasts, it would be less of an issue. Humans are the real danger. Look, their mounts are the Silver Mountain Bay. Everyone's gaze converged, and their expressions changed simultaneously. The rift opened, revealing a chasm filled with Silver Mountain Bay. Everyone naturally considered them as the greatest threat at hand, not expecting the presence of a sect. The mounts of the sect disciples were Silver Mountain Bay. It was basically certain that the Silver Mountain Bay and this abyss were those bred and kept by Heiyuan sect. A soft hum echoed. The abyss got locked in position. Within the abyss, a loud roar erupted, and countless pairs of eyes suddenly shot towards the night sky. Accompanied by a roar, the ground shook, and the Silver Mountain Bay leaped upward, climbing the cliff swiftly and with unmatched agility. Don't be fooled by their large, bull-like bodies. They hop between rocks, more nimble than mountain goats, scaling hundreds of meters in an instant. A glance revealed a silver ocean, cold as if chilling winds from the 9 netherworld hell gusted forth. The aura of every cultivator became heavy as mountains at that moment. All Qianlong members were sweating from their backs. How to resist such a beast tide? Unless with a nuclear bomb. However, it seemed the chief commander had not arranged for this contingency. Lin Zaiasu stood up. Special Squad 1 all stand by. Yes. Lin Zaiasu fixed his gaze on the light dot in front of him, which made its final adjustment. With a hum, all was set in position. Activate. Swish. 36 gold lines suddenly shot out towards the top of the abyss. The 36 lines came from all 4 directions, 30 kilometers apart, yet converged with flawless precision at a single point. Upon convergence, swish. The gold lines formed a net, casting over a 30-kilometer wide, 100-kilometer long abyss. An ancient spectacle suddenly unfolded before the crowd. The entire abyss suddenly flipped. Earth became sky, sky became earth. The Silver Mountain Bay fell from the sky. Literally like dumplings being dropped into a pot. During the fall, they twisted painfully, their blood seeping through their skin, quickly turning from silver to red. Countless roars, countless cries echoed as the heavens and earth inverted, triggering Lin Zaiasu's heavenly yin-yang chaos array. Young Master Lin, is this the heavenly yin-yang chaos array? Hua Maioi's face changed color. That's odd. Last time at the 3 Buddha Temple, we didn't see such a spectacle, the great elder of Shenghua Valley said. After coming out of Kunkang, I improved the previous array. This is the result of the enhancement, deepening the reversal essence, Lin Zaiasu said. With a single sentence, the giants looked at each other in dismay. What is the most terrifying kind of array master in the world? It's not the super array master who can form arrays with a wave of a hand, nor even the top-tier array master who can create a circulation array system, but the array path master, who continuously improves and introduces variables into the array path. In one moment at Kunkang, less than a month ago, he had already made improvements. This enhancement integrated the reversal essence, inverting heaven and earth. How frightening a talent in the array path is this? Fortunately, they joined his camp. Otherwise, even if they had studied the original heavenly yin-yang chaos array to perfection, his casual alteration would still have been deadly. With just this one change, all the giants of Kunkang were completely subjugated by Lin, never daring to entertain any ulterior thoughts again. Yet Feng Jai's perspective was naturally different. Only she knew that Lin Zaiasu hardly studied array paths. After leaving Kun Kang, he first sent Dawa home and then spent time in his room playing with her before he casually studied a sword Dao. When did he even spend time on array paths? He spent more time studying the paths on her body than anything else. Is this what it means in the genius world that time has no meaning? In an instant, tens of thousands of silver mountain bay fell from the sky, but not all died upon hitting the ground. They're still alive. Huya locked eyes on them, her toes twitching, as if she wanted to rush in and beat them to death. Lin Zaiasu chuckled, Special Squad 5. Here, 2 Qianlong gold medals took a step forward behind him. Spice them up a bit. Yes. The Qianlong gold medal raised his hand. A gigantic flying car suddenly appeared in the sky. The car split open, releasing countless dragonflies into the air. The dragonflies pierced through the array's golden light, entered the array, and burrowed into the mouths of the silver mountain bay. Boom! 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 These were suicide combat dragonflies. Despite their small size, their explosive power was extremely terrifying. The silver mountain bay, gold element beasts were terrifying war beasts. Impervious to weapons all over their bodies, their internals extremely robust. Even giants of the Enlightenment realm found it hard to effectively kill such a swarm of silver mountain bay, at most driving them underground, where they might not necessarily die. Yet Lin Zaiasu used only 2 moves to utterly annihilate tens of thousands of silver mountain bay. The first move, the heavenly yin-yang chaos array, reversed the blood flow in all silver mountain bay. These creatures had vastly superior physical qualities, and even under reversed blood flow, severely injured, most still hadn't died. Thus came the second move, hidden dragon technology black dragonfly. They burrowed into the gasping beasts, mouths agape, and detonated. The first round was completed smoothly. The Fengcheng defense line started by annihilating tens of thousands of silver mountain bay. The morale was greatly boosted. However, Lin Zaiasu stared at the images relayed by the wing blade, his expression extremely serious. Hua Maoi also felt a sudden shock in her heart. Countless figures rose from the Heiyuan sect's mountain gate. The silver mountain bay formed a torrent, and on their backs were cultivators. These people moved with the agility of dragons, seemingly all in the observing heaven realm. A glance revealed over 3,000. Even more terrifying were the dozen or so figures soaring into the sky, each manifesting 1,000 feet Dharma body, reaching the Enlightenment realm. Just this wave of people emerging from Heiyuan sect, far, exceeded the strength of the coalition formed by gathering the Kun Kang 13 sects. First Special Attack Team moved to the new battlefield. Lin Zaiasu flicked his hand, and 36 points converged into the array map in front of him. New battlefield coordinates were simultaneously transmitted to the first Special Attack Team that had just completed the extermination of the Silver Mountain Bay. Yes, 36 voices responded. These were the Qianlong gold medals among the 36 base points. The combat power of these people was negligible, but their data reception and targeting capabilities were unparalleled. The cultivators accompanying them discarded the used array crystal pillars, picking up brand new ones. Their fighting spirit was also ignited. In one battle, they had wiped out tens of thousands of ancient giant beasts and were in a state of high expansion, full of the heroic spirit of killing gods or Buddhas if encountered. Swish! 36 flying cars dashed into this newly unfolded folded space. In the sky, an elder locked his gaze on one of them. What is that? They had never seen a flying car before. The spiritual energy fluctuation is very weak. It's not something remarkable, said another elder. This world is in the end of Dharma era. We can easily take it over. Indeed, now that a passage between the ancient wilderness and this world has opened, almost every sect wants a share of the new world. Since our Heiyuan sect has gained the upper hand, we must occupy the best places. Their voices also came through the array. Qianlong number 8 exhaled long. Commander, we can no longer harbor the slightest illusion. Yes, said another gold medal next to number 8. There have been some noises recently, saying maybe we could coexist peacefully with the ones breaking realm. Now it seems purely wishful thinking. In their eyes, this world is just a piece of meat to carve up. The meat is not qualified to negotiate peaceful coexistence with the diners. Commander, we must. Lin Zaiasu raised his hand, and the voices of the 2 gold medals abruptly ceased. Lin Asu said solemnly. Special Attack Team 1, attention. The position has been occupied by the enemy's enlightenment realm. Switch to integration mode. Everyone was taken aback. Arranging an array is an extremely meticulous project. Not a single position should be off by the slightest. Now the enemy's army was rapidly moving, especially their enlightenment realm giants, who were moving in the sky, having absolute autonomy in choosing positions. The position Lin Asu initially set for the array had been occupied by the enlightenment realm. The array couldn't be set up. If it were just an ordinary array master, at this point, there would be no way out but to face it head-on. However, Lin Asu took the next step, switched to integration mode. What is integration? The control of all 36 flying cars was concentrated in his hands. He was going to control 36 flying cars by himself. Is this something humanly possible? Without a sound, 36 images appeared in front of Lin Asu. His hands moved gracefully. Moved left, speed 0.97 Mach. Moved right, speed 0.86 Mach. Soared high, speed 0.63 Mach. Descended with a 65-degree dive angle. Watching his fingers operate at a speed unimaginable to humans, watching these commands precise to 2 decimal places being issued. All the Qianlong members present were left with their jaws dropped. Lin Asu's mechanical control ability was mentioned a long time ago. In recent years, no one talked about it anymore because this legendary mechanical control seemed insignificant compared to his meteoric rise in other fields later on. However, witnessing him control 36 flying cars today, everyone finally understood how extraordinary this skill was. Even more jaw-dropping was the fact that, after his operation, the 36 flying cars, moving left and right, up and down at different angles and speeds, arrived at the most suitable array base position at the same moment. Swish! Lin Asu flicked his finger, transforming into 36 phantom points, simultaneously pressing on the hover button. With a buzz, a stream of golden light flowed through the array plate conjured before him. This indicated that the position was the best starting point for the great array. Activate! Lin Asu ordered. Golden lines simultaneously shot out, above the head of an enlightenment realm giant, forming the array's center point. With a buzz, the golden lines formed a net, perfectly enclosing the more than 3,000 people below, plus 3,000 giant beasts. Number 8 abruptly raised his eyes, staring dumbfounded at Lin Asu. What level of control technique is this? True God? True immortal? Whatever it is, it's certainly not human. In that space, as soon as the heavenly yin-yang chaos array took shape, the dozen or so enlightenment realm giants in the sky immediately sensed it. An array. With a swish, the true essence giant palm of the enlightenment realm giant nearest to the center point made a sudden stretch, slapping the golden net above. Chapter 587, Chapter 586, Annihilation of the Heiyuan Sect. This is where the power of the giants of the enlightenment realm lies. Their 1,000-foot Dharma bodies are true essence transformations, feeling neither pain nor fearing destruction. Even if something powerful destroys the true essence transformation, as long as their true bodies remain, they can be reborn at any time. Therefore, those in the enlightenment realm often use the true essence giant palm to destroy heaven and earth, daring to touch anything. However, when this palm strike was released, something unexpected happened. His entire body's energy and blood suddenly reversed, and the true essence transformation shattered instantly. This enlightenment realm cultivator was shocked. What shocked him even more was that the entire world was completely reversed. Ground became sky, sky became ground. Reversal array, cried an enlightenment realm cultivator. This is impossible. More than a dozen giants of the enlightenment realm had their Dharma bodies collapse simultaneously, falling from the 1,000-foot sky, crashing toward the earth, and this crash defied convention, with the earth now above their heads, making them seem like they were being thrown upwards by an unseen force. More than 10 giants of the enlightenment realm. Over 3,000 Silver Mountain Bay. The 3,000 masters on the backs of the Silver Mountain Bay. They all fell into the abyss in the same way as the Silver Mountain Bay. Blood and energy reversed, the blood tower destroyed, the heavenly star fell, foundation completely ruined. Concentrate your minds, stabilize the spirit platform. 8 words descended from the sky, a command issued by an enlightenment realm master. His voice remained steady. This proved that his cultivation was definitely not inferior to that of Kun Kang Kong, when abbot of that day. Among the three great enlightenment realms of the three Buddha temple, only Kong Wen, whose cultivation is the deepest, barely stabilized his internal blood tower, heavenly star, and sea of reincarnation under the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. Yet all these more than 10 enlightenment realm cultivators stabilized themselves, and even though they fell from the 1,000-foot void, none of them died from the fall. Hua Maioi's face changed. The enlightenment realms of the ancient wilderness are this powerful. It's often said that outsiders see the spectacle, while insiders see the profundities. Her words grasped the profundities. 2nd Special Assault Team, 5th Special Assault Team, go! Lin Zaiasu issued another order. With a swish, 18 flying cars pierced through the air, entering the battlefield. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A rain of bullets flew. The experts of the Heiyuan sect experienced something they had never encountered before. The machine guns and cannons of this world. Such a level of machine guns, ordinarily, it would almost be impossible to hit them, but today their foundations were completely destroyed, unable to exhibit their ghost-like speed. The destructive power of this level, on a normal day, wouldn't be enough to be fatal to someone above the observing heaven level, because their true chi could form effective protection. However, now, after their foundations were destroyed, they were just like ordinary people. Even the formidable enlightenment realm struck down their life's path amidst the barrage of bullets. Let alone the 5th Special Assault Team. The 5th Team is a special combat unit controlling drones. Though few in number, the small suicide drones they carried seemed almost endless. The drones came in various sizes, including dragonflies, spiders, and beetles. When they entered a person's mouth, the person died. When they entered the mouth of the Silver Mountain Bay, the fierce war beasts with reversing energy screamed in pain, never to suffer again. Those more than 10 giants of the Enlightenment realm went through 3 rounds of torment. Being knocked out of the Enlightenment realm was the first round, swept by machine guns in the second round, and having suicide drones drill inside them. Boom. In the valley, guns and cannons roared and the ground shook. The commotion was unparalleled. Yet at its essence, it was intentional striking against the unprepared, catching the other side off guard. The ensuing scenario was clearly a different situation. On the summit of the Heiyun sect's mountain, 10 shadows soared into the sky with a swish. An elderly red-haired man, his beard and hair flying, asked, "Isn't this the so-called land of the end of Dharma? How is there a heaven and space reversal array?" The heaven and space reversal array, ever since the ancient array sect departed from this world, has lost its inheritance here. Yet the outside world has it. Could it be the legacy of the array sect? Another elderly man with black hair questioned beside him. Why bother studying inheritance now? Anyone daring to defy this sect shall be killed without mercy. A voice rang from behind. The maximum coverage of the heaven and space reversal array doesn't exceed a 300 li radius. Lower court 10 elders, each lead your disciples, advance in separate lines, and wipe them out in one fell swoop. This voice emanated from the Heiyuan main peak. The 10+ people bowed in unison, by order of the great elder. Boom! Together, the dozen or more people raised a hand, holding an azure wood flag. With the flag raised, the valley roared, the ground shook, and over 10 enormous monstrous pythons emerged from the valley. Their heads as large as mountains, their black scales resembling huge grindstones, and on the backs of each python were over 100 disciples in yellow garments. All of this was seen clearly by Wing Blade, using the array path as his eyes. At the entrance to the folded space, Feng Jai's face changed. They've grown smarter, attacking dispersively beyond the array's coverage. Exactly so, Saintess Qian Ling said. The maximum coverage of the heaven and space reversal array is only 300 li, and that's only when using the observing heaven level as the array base to reach its limit. Currently, it's barely 100 li. Attacking dispersedly like this, no matter how you set up the array, there will always be an array base exposed to the enemy's eyes, rendering the array unusable. Both of them, one with ancient memories. The other holds fragmented memories of that world. Both hit the nail on the head. Hua Maioi raised her hand. The battle of the cultivators has arrived. Fight, all the cultivators around her shouted in unison. Go, Hua Maioi ascended with one step, taking all the people of Shenghua Valley with her. Swish! All the Enlightenment Realm cultivators attacked simultaneously, taking away all their people. The battle belonging to the cultivators began just like this. I'm going too. Huya leaped up, rushing towards the mountain ahead. With a loud boom, the rocks beneath her feet shattered into pieces as she plunged into the battlefield. Brother, I'm going too. Dawa took one last deep look at Lin Zaiasu, his body transforming into light smoke. Little Su, no matter how the battle ends, I still hope you preserve your life. With a movement of her foot, Saintess Kaian Ling suddenly reached the treetop, and in the next moment directly entered the battlefield. Feeling the intense wind of the battlefield, it seemed to Saintess Kaian Ling that she was once again at the frontier fortresses of yore. In that battle, she had fought for the human clan. She was gravely injured and became a remnant against her will. Yet today, she would once again fight for the human clan. This battle would ultimately have regrets, the biggest being her cultivation was insignificant compared to 10,000 years ago. She couldn't even truly showcase the might of the spirit clan's holy daughter in this familiar bloody battleground. However, when it came down to it, she had no regrets. Commander, I'm going too. Number 8 raised his hand, saluting. Behind him, 7 Qianlong members saluted simultaneously. What use would it be for you to go? Lin Zaiasu said. You stay behind. The veins on number 8's face twitched. All right, I know none of you Qianlong gold medals are afraid of death, but blindly throwing away your life is meaningless. Lin Zaiasu said. We have work to do. The last sentence carried over, and several Qianlong gold medals stood at attention. Please give us the order, Commander. Lin Zaiasu extended his hand, and 8 segments were separated from the control panel. The 8 of you take over the central control. For detailed operations, refer to your respective manuals. The 8 entered combat mode, each taking their position, and upon reviewing the manual, they were all invigorated. The enemies attacked in a scattered manner. Under circumstances where the array could not be used, Lin Zaiasu actually had a contingency plan. That was anticipating the enemy. But, number 8 looked up. Commander, there's one more very important thing. Speak. Inside the Heiyuan sect, there are still many experts. Even if we annihilate this wave of invaders, reinforcements will continue to arrive. How do we deal with them? Yes, this was the most pressing issue. No matter how meticulous his arrangements or how thorough his strategies, they only targeted this phase of the battle. Inside the Heiyuan sect, there were still experts. If they were to be annihilated, even stronger reinforcements would eventually emerge, and in the end they would still lose. Lin Zaiasu's gaze lifted, staring at the western sky. Now we can only take a gamble, hoping that even the strongest of the Heiyuan sect can't withstand a nuclear bomb strike. Nuclear bomb. Number 8's eyes widened. The space here is enormous and it can't be pinpointed. Lin Zaiasu said, Did you think the deployment of Wing Blade was only to relay information from inside? Number 8's heart skipped a beat. Wing Blade comes with its own locator. His voice cut short. His eyes suddenly lifted. In the sky above, a fireball cut through the sky, fast as lightning, diving straight into this secret realm. Number 8 was completely stunned. What does it mean to turn the impossible into possible? What does it mean by Lin's strategy, proving its brilliance in the direst time? The folded space had just opened, and the magnetic field inside was chaotic. Even the space was in disarray. Theoretically, it was impossible to launch a missile because you couldn't provide it with coordinates. This was a challenge modern technology couldn't solve. However, Lin Zaiasu solved it. His solution was simple: Wing Blade. The missile didn't need a target, just follow Wing Blade's tail. Where Wing Blade went, that's where the explosion happened. More than a dozen elders of the Heiyuan sect and over a dozen giant pythons, leading more than 1,000 lower court disciples, had just crossed the ridge. Whoosh, a fireball skimmed over their heads. The speed was inexplicable. That red-haired elder extended his true essence giant palm to strike at the fireball, but futilely, as he only touched its outer layer. The immense shockwave almost caused him to topple. Weapons from the outside world, quite powerful, an elder remarked. It's powerful indeed, but it's also easy to dodge, the red-haired elder exhaled. No problem. Just as he said, no problem. Boom! A massive explosion. The missile landed accurately in the sect's central square. The fireball expanded instantaneously, 1,000-fold. On the square, countless people were instantly vaporized. A mushroom-shaped cloud rolled upward, a black dot shot through the sky at a speed visible to the naked eye. At the moment of the fiery explosion, it almost skimmed the edge of the fire, creating a sonic boom. Its speed increased tenfold more, breaking through to the sky. This was Wingblade. Wingblade's maximum speed far surpassed the missiles, capable of escaping a nuclear explosion. But how could the people of Heiyuan sect have such reaction speed? Even if they did, they wouldn't anticipate it. To cultivators, the fireball's arrival marked its greatest power, but little did they know it wasn't the case. The explosion was. This explosion centered on Heiyuan Square, and a terrifying shockwave rolled across the grounds. All the buildings instantly turned to smoke, everyone vaporized, every courtyard ceased to exist, and the mountains surrounding the impact point shattered into dust. High on the tallest peak, an elder took a step into the air. What's going on? Boom! The shockwave rolled, instantly vaporizing the exotic flowers, grass, and ancient trees that had stood for millennia on the peak. A top-tier elder, having almost reached the peak of enlightenment, with his primordial spirit almost materialized, had his flesh and blood ripped from his bones, becoming a skeleton swept into the shockwave, soaring high into the sky. This was a top-tier elder, and he wasn't even in the center of the explosion, at least 10 kilometers away. If even he suffered this fate, what about the others? The Special Forces team, 30 miles away from the Heiyuan sect explosion point, was utterly stunned. Chapter 588, Chapter 587, Battle of the Enlightenment Realm. What is this? Why is it so terrifying? The red-haired elder exclaimed. Another elder shouted, "Look quickly." He pointed downwards. A shockwave was sweeping in from below. It seemed about to engulf their entire troop. Block it, the red-haired elder struck out with a giant true essence palm. Boom! The red-haired elder was flung high into the air, as this shockwave was something that even a giant of the Enlightenment realm couldn't withstand. He was thrown far away. The troop at his feet also suffered. They were caught by the exploding aftermath that pursued them across 30 miles. A giant python was lifted, slamming into the cliff ahead. The 100 people on its back were left with 100 wounds, bones and tendons severed. Among the lower court 10 elders, troops were divided into 12 paths. This path was the closest to the sect. Apart from 2 giants of the Enlightenment realm, the rest perished. And this was just the aftermath from 30 miles away. The 2 elders looked at each other. The red-haired elder's lips quivered. Outside, is it really the end of Dharma era? The black-haired elder's face turned as pale as earth. I think we made a major mistake indeed. After 400 years of war, occupying what we thought is an advantageous land, can this truly be such? Isn't it more of a guillotine? The Heiyuan sect battled fiercely for over 400 years to secure this land with a gateway to the outside world. They finally succeeded in exterminating tens of millions of native inhabitants, eagerly awaiting the day the portal would open to seize that world at the first opportunity. Yet today, when the portal opened, they were met with the fiercest attack from the outside. A single fireball destroyed the 1,000-year legacy of the Heiyuan sect. They fought arduously for over 400 years, only to die early. Isn't this the greatest irony? Shall we yet fight on? Fight my ass. If you want to fight, go ahead. I still want to live a few more years. With a swoosh, the black-haired elder turned and fled. Dignified giants of the Enlightenment realm, scared witless. This was an unexpected gain from this nuclear bomb. The strategy of attacking in a dispersed manner of Heiyuan sect had some effectiveness after all. The first benefit was dismantling Lin, Zaiasu's asymmetrical tactic of the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. The second was that the aftermath of the nuclear bomb did not hit them as hard. 7 or 8 squads even turned away and didn't see the state of the sect at all. They were met with a familiar scene along the cultivation path. Across stood 13 Enlightenment realm giants, with hundreds below. Huamayoi's heart raced. As she delved deeper into this world, her use of true essence became increasingly skillful. Her Dharma body had grown from 100 yards to 1,000, fully restoring her status as a Kun Kang giant. Moreover, she faintly felt the heaven and earth essence here surpassed that of Kun Kang. A bottleneck untouched for years showed signs of loosening. The other 12 giants of the Enlightenment realm felt the same. In Kun Kang, a semi-decaying place of cultivation, anyone who stood out and entered the Enlightenment realm had to be of exceptional talent, and possess an extremely high realm of understanding. Otherwise, they wouldn't have reached the enlightenment realm. Their progression was stalled mainly due to the limitations of heaven and earth essence and heavenly Tao rules, which were thin and incomplete, preventing further advancement even at a 100-foot pole. Here, directly connected to the ancient great world, with dense essence and complete heavenly Tao rules, they all felt ecstatic at the first instance. However, they also sensed pressure. On the opposing side, there were 15 Enlightenment Realm giants across 12 positions. They were outnumbered, and each opponent had grown up in such an environment with a more solid foundation. This battle tough. Perhaps the toughest part was still below. First annihilate below to relieve pressure on the disciples, Hua Maioi shouted. As her voice fell, Hua Maioi took the lead. A true essence giant palm rose. One palm struck down. Below, a giant python leaped over the hill. Boom! The true essence giant palm struck from above, reducing the python's flesh to pulp, and half of the 100 people on its back were slain. This palm officially commenced the cultivation war. The other Enlightenment Realm giants also raised their hands. However, in the sky across, a slash came down. This slash, though formed by true essence, was sharp and tangible like the heavenly blade itself. Hua Maioi's heart tightened, hands raised. Around the true essence giant palm, 100 flowers bloomed as if she were a real Beihua fairy. The giant blade passed, the flowers withered as if meeting a severe chill wind. Hua Maioi's figure spun, transforming flowers into clouds, soaring into the sky to greet her real battle. Whoosh! Wind and clouds rolled wildly from all directions. The Heiyuan Sect's Enlightenment giants acted in unison. The Kun Kang's Enlightenment giants only managed to strike down 2 giant pythons below before being passively brought into the firmament. As soon as they ascended the firmament, they felt extreme oppression. Must admit, the foundation of enlightenment in the desolate ancient realm was far stronger than that of Kun Kang. Each one of them was no less than Abbot Kong Wen of the 3 Buddha Temple. In just one round, half of those from Kun Kang were driven back, with fewer than 5 able to withstand a single move without retreating. But they retreated only to charge back immediately. Everyone was very clear. If they lost this wave, all their previous glorious battle results would be in vain. The disciples they brought along would also be entirely destroyed. In an instant, they used all their trump cards. The sky seemed completely torn apart. The rarely seen or found war of enlightenment erupted completely. The war of enlightenment, each strike earth-shattering, yet it was difficult for enlightenment against enlightenment to achieve a fatal blow with one strike. Comparatively, the battle below of the observing heaven level was 10 times more brutal. Giant pythons slid down from the mountaintop, carrying an eerie impact, striking directly at the heart. All the masters of Kun Kang were greatly shocked inwardly. With a whoosh, someone leaped high into the air. Remember, I am Li Dayandian. Bang! A punch like rolling winds and clouds struck heavily on the giant python's head. The giant python's head, like a small mountain, crashed heavily to the ground, and its body swung upwards, reaching the sky due to the massive inertia. The power of this strike left everyone stunned. Even Feng Jai seemed shocked, standing there blankly, gazing up at the giant python's tail crashing down from above. On the python's back, 100 masters flew up simultaneously, wielding swords and blades with an overwhelming aura. Huya spun her body, fiercely charging forward. Bang! A peeping heaven master, rushing head-on, had his head directly smashed. The residual power of this punch wasn't finished yet, racing forward through the blood mist, bang! Again smashing another peeping heaven master's head. Clang! A large saber came head-on, its blade dark like a ghost, slicing toward Huya. Huya launched her left punch. It struck the blade directly. The saber was instantly vibrated away, as she followed through with her punch, astonishingly breaking through the midline of a team of over 100 people in no time. The valley on the left rumbled violently as another giant python emerged from the valley. Heiyuan Sect's lower court's second route reached here, forming a siege. They scattered to avoid falling into the array. Now coming together, they're sweeping through all obstacles. In front of the valley, someone appeared out of thin air, a blonde beauty. The giant python opened its mouth wide to swallow this blonde beauty. She was none other than Saintess Kaian Ling. Saintess Kaian Ling's hands suddenly came together, 2 index fingers pointing straight at the sky, with green light emanating from her fingertips. Chia! The The grass on the ground suddenly grew wildly. Swish! Both the giant python and the 100 people on its back were simultaneously entangled tightly by the wildly growing grass. The masters on the python's back were shocked. Spirit Clan struggled desperately, but at this moment, the seemingly weak grass had astonishing resilience, and even peeping heaven masters could not tear it apart. However, the python was the exception, as it moved forward, breaking free from all restraints. Saintess Kyan Ling's hair floated high, and a virtual image of a large tree swayed on her forehead. She was already on the verge of collapse, but she persisted, as the python continued relentlessly approaching her. It seemed she was about to perish when suddenly a light smoke rose, appearing by her side, forming into a shy little beauty dressed in Tibetan clan attire. Her hand lifted, and her palm turned from jade white to gray mist. The gray misty palm fell on the python's head. The python's eyes, filled with fierce light, suddenly turned a dull gray. Although still moving forward by inertia, plowing a deep trench into the ground, it was no longer a living python, but rather a dead piece of wood. Saintess Kyan Ling rejoiced. Death rule. Good, let's perform a life-and-death transformation. Life-and-death transformation. I don't know how, Dawa said. You say it, I'll do it. Exert fully, I'll operate it. Dawa's full force poured out from her palm, and the virtual tree on Saintess Kyan Ling's forehead vibrated, transforming into thousands of phantom tentacles connecting with the grass on the ground. Spirit annihilation 1,000 miles. With her voice falling, Dawa's death aura used the grass controlled by Saintess Kyan Ling as a bridge, injecting into the bodies of the 100 masters on the python's back. The 100 masters, eyes all simultaneously turned white, with all struggling forces vanishing into smoke. Saintess Kyan Ling staggered dangerously, nearly toppling over, and Dawa was similarly on the verge of collapse. With their combined power, it was impossible to forcefully kill over 100 peeping heaven masters, but they succeeded because Saintess Kyan Ling used a forbidden technique. Wood vitality, together with the death rule, achieved a life-and-death transformation. 2 roots charged forward, Huya broke through halfway, getting entangled in a fierce battle. Saintess Kyan Ling and Dawa cooperated, nearly wiping out 1 root. Yet the 3rd root and 4th root had already entered the fray. People on the Kun Kang cultivation path jumped up, suffering heavy casualties in moments. Saintess Kyan Ling took a deep breath. Dawa again. All right. Both took steps forward into the crowd. Saintess Kyan Ling's form floated, immediately altering the battlefield ahead as the grass wildly grew, and Dawa's entire body emanated a death aura, bringing the presence of a grim reaper wherever she went. Their true chi nature was completely opposite, yet as they came side by side, they seemed like black and white impermanence. Suddenly the sky darkened. Saintess Kyan Ling's gaze sharply lifted, shocked. Above the sky, a true essence giant palm descended, aiming directly at her and Dawa. Heiyuan Enlightenment Realm had 15 giants, Kun Kang only had 13. Once the Enlightenment Realm connected, they tumbled and rolled, battling across hundreds of miles of sky, but there were 2 missing giants in the Enlightenment Realm. This absence was fatal. The person also saw Saintess Kyan Ling and Dawa were extraordinary and directly aimed to eliminate them. Saintess Kyan Ling's heart sank. At this moment, she could absolutely not withstand Enlightenment Realm's combat power. Could it be that she, a heavenly pride saintess comparable to the ancient great power, was about to die at the hands of these riffraff? Just when it seemed there was no way out above and no entry below. Feng Jai suddenly transformed. Chapter 589, Chapter 588, Feng Jai enters the Enlightenment Realm. Feng Jai entered the battlefield, and now is off her game. In Kun Kang, she is the foremost below the Enlightenment Realm, and theoretically, upon entering the battlefield, she should unleash her strongest battle prowess, yet she is dazed and absent-minded. The battlefield is ablaze, yet she is akin to a deity wandering beyond the heavens. At this moment she finally awakens. Upon awakening, colorful clouds suddenly swirl around her. The colorful clouds rise, transforming into countless little phoenixes. The little phoenixes soar into the sky, and her body suddenly expands rapidly, reaching a height of 10 jang in an instant. Saintess Kyan Ling's mouth is half open, breaking into the Enlightenment Realm. The Enlightenment Realm in the air laughs heartily. A rare sight indeed, someone breaking through on the spot, splendid. I love to strike when hope is within sight. Whoosh! A palm descends. This palm is twice as powerful as the previous one. Feng Jai's body has expanded to a height of 100 jang, confronting a true essence giant palm of 300 jang. She shouts, "Nirvana swordsmanship opening move. Neither enemy nor ally exists." The countless phoenix shadow suddenly converge into a super phoenix. The phoenix flies toward the true essence giant palm. Boom! The earth shakes and mountains tremble. The true essence giant palm dissipates like smoke in clouds. Yet Feng Jai, now a Dharma body of 100 jang in height, shows faint cracks. Indications are evident that her path to breaking through is forcibly obstructed. Kill! The enlightenment realm shouts loudly from the sky, sending another palm down. This palm is twice as powerful as the last one. It is a full-force strike. The enlightenment suddenly realizes this woman who has just broken through is extraordinarily unique. If she succeeds in breaking through, she truly might pose a threat. Full force must be applied to intercept. Above in the sky, flowers abound. Hua Maioi, appearing from somewhere unknown, stretches out her hand, forming a vivid giant palm from countless flowers to intercept the strike. Originally several miles away engaged in fierce battle, Hua Maioi discovers her chief disciple in the midst of breaking through, facing obstacles, and rushes over to aid. However, just as her strike leaves her hand, a true essence great saber descends onto her. The saber gleams with sharp edges, appearing almost tangible. This is the pinnacle expression of body enlightenment realm. Body enlightenment grasps the form, God enlightenment grasps the essence. When true essence body's form and essence are complete, it is the inception of primordial spirit. In Kun Kang's current enlightenment realm, Hua Maioi's cultivation stands high. But the elder holding the saber possesses higher cultivation. The two engage in fierce battle for dozens of moves, and Hua Maioi is already brimming with true essence, unable to find the right path. Now, anxious to save, she loses advantage upon facing the precursory strike, extremely perilous. Not only is she unable to save her disciple, even her own life is in jeopardy. Suddenly, a dark shadow flashes across the sky. The next instant, Lin Zaiasu appears atop Feng Jai's head, riding the wing blade. The giant palm in the sky descends wildly, covering the entire sky. Below lies Feng Jai's Dharma body of 100 jang, faintly cracked. In the middle is a tiny figure, the wing blade carrying Lin Zaiasu. "Young Master Lin, retreat!" Hua Maioi shouts, forcibly inserting the true essence giant palm to intercept the descending one, disregarding the saber aimed at her head. Lin Zaiasu looks up, smiling slightly. "Lord Hua, protect yourself." With his voice, his sword emerges. As the long sword appears, cyan light flows across. Underneath the true essence giant palm, a red spider lily appears out of thin air. Beneath the red spider lily, Lin Zaiasu seems worlds apart. Other shore flower blooms. Lin Zaiasu takes the drop of blood from Feng Jai, achieving his own other shore flower bloom. The first sword strike he performs is to rescue Feng Jai. Hua Maioi's heart leaps fiercely, urgently retracting the palm to support her head. Boom! A saber slashes down. Hua Maioi is struck from the sky, but remains uninjured. Feng Jai's eyes open, infinitely complex. "Senior sister, you're breaking through," Lin Zaiasu says. "Protect me for 5 minutes," Feng Jai says. "No problem." Feng Jai's eyes close abruptly, her aura like floating clouds, inhaling and exhaling. Lin Zaiasu lifts his gaze. The enlightenment in the sky suddenly grasps with both hands, tearing the red spider lily apart, his hand descending to grab both Lin Zaiasu and Feng Jai. Yet with this grasp, a scene of misty rain Jiangnan suddenly unfolds before him. The mist drifts, the rain floats, a pool of lotus leaves sways in the night wind. Lotus falls, lotus withers, half of the remaining red ascends to the ninth heaven. This half red rises, carrying an eerie sword Dao mystery. The enlightenment's heart skips. In the end of Dharma era, such a sword Dao exists. His right hand sends a palm down, covering the misty rain Jiangnan created by Lin Zaiasu. This is the giant of the enlightenment realm. Strength overcomes all. This fighting principle manifests prominently in them. Regardless of the method, they strike down everything with one palm. From a conventional perspective, Lin Zaiasu cannot possibly hold out for 5 minutes for Feng Jai. Theoretically, even 1 minute seems unlikely. Yet when this palm strikes down, Lin Zaiasu's remaining flower undergoes a change. Transformed into a red spider lily. He and the enlightenment are once again worlds apart. The enlightenment is furious, tearing the red spider lily again. But upon tearing, he encounters misty rain Jiangnan once more, flowers scattered, one flower flying. This flower transforms into a red spider lily again, and the distance between them becomes infinitely far once more. This enlightenment is nearly driven mad. Despite his ignorance of the concept of matryoshka, this is clearly a matryoshka in the cultivation path. The distance between the red spider lilies. Breaking the red spider lily is his Li Ren tears. The flower drifting with the Li Ren tears is also a red spider lily. The three cycle endlessly. The battle below was at a fervent pitch. The battle in the sky between enlightenment realms was also at a fervent pitch. Feng Jai raced against time to stabilize her realm, while the transformations within her body also reached a fervent pitch. Only Lin Ziyasu's battle with this enlightenment realm appeared so bizarre. The enlightenment realm continuously engaged in a matryoshka-like battle before him. This person was stubborn, determined not to change methods, deconstructing layer after layer. Of course, if he wanted to change methods, it was actually not feasible. If he wanted to capture Feng Jai, he had to keep opening boxes, one layer after another endlessly. He could only bet that the little guy would exhaust his true chi. Yet he had no idea Lin Ziyasu's greatest strength was his endurance. Nor could he know, amid such matryoshka-like fights, Lin Ziyasu's understanding of the red spider lily move was rapidly improving. If not for the intense combat, he would have hoped that old man would deconstruct with him day and night. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. Feng Jai suddenly opened her eyes, momentarily surprised by the scene before her. 5 minutes, and she sincerely didn't want to give that to her husband, but she had no choice. No matter what she thought of, she had to fight for these 5 minutes. In that instant of opening her eyes, she was very worried, fearing seeing her husband covered in wounds. Yet when she opened her eyes, she saw her husband beaming, playing matryoshka with someone. "Honey, are you ready?" The 5 words floated over so lightheartedly. Ready? Feng Jai's body suddenly rose, reaching a height of 500 jang. A 500 jang dharma body meant she had officially stepped into the enlightenment realm. For ordinary people entering the enlightenment realm, the dharma body was 300 jang. And she, upon entering the enlightenment realm, had a dharma body of 500 jang. This was already the standard for heavenly pride. The enlightenment realm expert finally broke free from the matryoshka, shouting loudly, "What a heavenly pride! I'll kill you!" Feng Jai quickly raised her hand. The long sword pointed straight at the sky. Whoosh! It seemed all the clouds moved along, and her long sword suddenly transformed into a 300 jang long great sword. Nirvana swordsmanship opening stance, no one stands between us. This iconic sword move underwent a transformation at this moment. No longer did the appearance of the long sword merge all small phoenixes into a colossal phoenix, but a true phoenix and her long sword became one, with golden light swirling within as if nurturing a real phoenix. 1/. The old man's giant palm was split in two, his eyes wide open. No. Swoosh. His body split in two, blood spraying across the sky. For a moment the battle below halted, countless people gazed up at the sky. The aerial battle seemed to have changed as well. Hua Maioi fiercely clashed with a formidable enemy, getting repulsed, and suddenly glimpsed this spectacular sight through the 100-mile sky. Her disciple Feng Jai transformed into a mighty figure with a demonic face. The 500 jang dharma body, standing proudly in the sky, surrounded by colorful clouds, with her sword cutting down an enlightenment realm. Kun Kang enlightenment realms 13 people fought for over half a shichen without killing one enlightenment realm from the opponent, yet she had just broken through and killed one. This was the true heavenly pride level enlightenment realm. Kill, a roar suddenly echoed from the distant sky, filled with boundless murderous intent. The person before Hua Maioi's giant saber suddenly doubled in size, striking down, the blade seemingly flashing with blood. Hua Maioi added her whole cultivation to withstand it. With a force that could shift mountains and overturn seas pouring out, Hua Maioi retreated 100 jang, and a saber suddenly attacked her from behind, clearly another enlightenment realm. Feng Jai's slaying of an enlightenment realm thoroughly enraged the enemy. A full-force attack commenced. The first wave struck Hua Maioi. Seeing Hua Maioi about to be ambushed by the enlightenment realm behind, Feng Jai suddenly raised her hand, the other sure flower blooms. Her long sword extended, isolating the attacker and Hua Maioi in an instant beyond reach. Feng Jai took a step forward, reaching Hua Maioi's side, and as master and disciple raised their hands together, the frontal enlightenment realm was repelled for the first time, yet the one behind tore through the red spider lily and attacked again. Master, let me handle the one in front, you take care of the one behind. The one in front had stronger combat power. Hua Maioi could only endure in front of him, but the one behind was relatively weaker, about equal with Hua Maioi. Hence, Feng Jai directly switched opponents with her master. Hua Maioi turned to face the one behind, a strand of voice entering Feng Jai's ear. Your combat power now surpasses mine. No need to call me master anymore. Let's call each other sisters. Master saved me back then, and I swore as a disciple to serve you until the end of my life. Today you also saved me. Our mutual rescue offsets, and from now on, let's speak only of friendship, not gratitude, sister. The great saber attacked in front. Feng Jai had no time to argue. With the sword rising in hand, the phoenix on the sword reappeared. Suddenly, a voice resonated throughout. All Kun Kang enlightenment realms gather. It was Lin Zaiasu. Stepping on the wing blade, high in the sky, his voice transformed into ocean-sweeping waves, engulfing the battleground. Boom! From the east, the sect master of Lishan's sect rolled over, indeed rolling, with his hair completely disheveled. In the west, bloodlight permeated, the sect master of Hanyun's sect with an arm missing, rushing forward. The western mountain peak crumbled into ruins with a bang, and a human silhouette stepped in. It was the sect master of Li Yuan's sect, Li Dachuan, whose legs were gone, blood flowing profusely. Above the sky, a person fell, accompanied by a scream. It was the sect master of Dong Lai sect, Li Changjiang. He received Lin Zaiasu's command, launching a furious attack on the enemy before fleeing, not expecting the opponent to retaliate, penetrating his main body. Chapter 590. Chapter 589. Opportunity arises in motion. The Kun Kang Enlightenment Realm, facing the Heiyuan Sect Enlightenment Realm, was already overwhelmed. Everyone was actually hovering on the edge of whether to retreat or not. If they didn't retreat, they might truly be beaten to death. But if they did retreat, it would trigger a massive collapse of the Enlightenment Realm, leading to this resistance being defeated. Upon hearing Lin Zaiasu's call, it truly felt like a great relief. They hurriedly scrambled over, crawling and rolling. 1 figure, 2 figures, 3 figures. A total of 10 figures. Only 10 of us are left. The sect masters of the Western Medicine sect, the Hunter sect, and the Yuying sect have all died in battle. Li Changjiang from Dong Lai sect wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and there were unexpectedly chunks of flesh in it. It was obvious that his internal injuries were severe. Hua Maioi was greatly shocked. Currently, her side only had 10 Enlightenment Realm fighters left, plus the newly ascended Feng Jai, making 11, while the opposing side still had 14. Moreover, their overall strength far exceeded their own. Could this battle truly end in disappointment? On the fringe, the shadows of the true essence giants filled the sky. A purple-clad giant laughed aloud towards the sky. Excellent, gathering in one place makes it easier to annihilate. Wipe them all out, not one shall escape. Hua Maioi's heart skipped a beat. Her gaze fell on Lin Zaiasu. This gathering method, is it really wise? As the purple-clad man said, given the huge disparity in strength between the two sides, gathering together would simply present an opportunity for the enemy to eliminate them. If they scattered, a few would certainly manage to escape, but by gathering, they might actually face total annihilation. Young Master Lin, you have always been wise. Why are you making a foolish mistake today? Lin Zaiasu laughed heartily. We gather precisely to lure you into gathering. As soon as his voice fell, suddenly 36 flying cars appeared on the periphery, forming a clever formation. The purple-clad elder was shocked. No, he intends to form an array. An elder on the west side sneered. Want to form an array? I will destroy your array base first. He raised his hand, and a true essence giant palm struck towards a flying car on the west side. Sorry, you can't destroy it. As Lin Zaiasu said these 8 words, his wing blade pierced the sky, and as his long sword emerged, the red spider lily bloomed. Using himself as the axis, the red spider lily transformed into a galaxy that divided heaven and earth, completely cutting off the western sky. East side, the purple-clad elder stepped out. However, Feng Jai also stepped out. Raising her hand, she also unveiled the red spider lily. Her red spider lily, almost identical to Lin Xiaosu's, their minds in perfect sync, unfolded simultaneously, forming an east-west boundary that sealed all 14 giants of the Enlightenment realm. Ignorant youths daring to seal the heavens and earth, the purple-clad elder's fury sword, tear it. The 14 Enlightenment realm fighters suddenly unleashed their power. The red spider lily of the two shattered into pieces. However, across the distant galaxy, the two exchanged a smile, and once again unleashed the red spider lily. The red spider lily was torn apart once more. The 14 Enlightenment realm figures were only a step away from Lin Xiaosu and Feng Jai. "Help!" Li Changjiang called out loudly, dragging his severely wounded body, preparing to step across the sky. Hua Maioi extended her hand, grabbing him. No need. A thread of rejuvenating true essence penetrated his body. At that moment, the 36 flying cars had assumed their positions. Golden lines interwove over Lin Xiaosu's head. With a faint buzzing sound, they descended. The 14 Enlightenment realm figures were already one step away from the two juniors they loathed deeply. However, suddenly before them the world reversed. Their blood instantly flowed backward. The heavenly yin-yang chaos array, they had always been on guard. From the moment they split into 13 roots, it was evident they hadn't overlooked this ancient strange array, always vigilantly defending against it, never giving Lin Xiaosu a chance. As the full-scale battle commenced, their alertness towards the array path slowly diminished, because the array path was only suitable for ambush, not for deployment on such a fierce battlefield. With both sides in the array, even if you deployed it, you might kill 10,000 enemies but lose 8,000 of your own, not to mention the Enlightenment realm fighters could move hundreds of miles in an instant. If they discovered the array base, they would destroy it with ease, and you couldn't form any array. However, opportunity ultimately arose in movement. It was generated from Lin Xiaosu seemingly foolish gathering strategy. When their Enlightenment realm gathered, the enemy Enlightenment realm fighters went mad, not even thinking of any array anymore. Naturally, they gathered, seeing the miserable state of Kun Kang Enlightenment realm missing limbs. All 14 giants on the periphery were emotionally stirred, believing they could annihilate them in one fell swoop. Little did they know, the initially vigilant attitude towards the array path, later gradually relaxed, came into play at this moment. Even with awareness of danger, the Heiyuan Enlightenment realm initially believed there was not much issue, as they only needed to destroy one array base for the array not to take shape. Who would have thought that these two juniors would wield the red spider lily, making their teeth grind in hatred, firmly sealing them in. The seal could only last a few minutes. In those few minutes, the array base was established. The Great Array has still been initiated. With its initiation, the Heiyuan Enlightenment realm's blood flow reverses, causing the true essence body to break its power on the spot, tumbling down. In midair, countless curses. "You are also within the array, let's see who laughs last." Hua Maioi laughed. "I can answer that question." Her hand extended, and a crystal pillar appeared in her palm. It was the anti-rebel array crystal given to them by Lin Xiaosu. A single crystal pillar can protect 100 square yards. This group of Enlightenment realms stood in the sky, coldly watching as 14 giants fell. Lin Xiaosu's winged blade unfolded, sliding down the long sky. Like a gentleman gliding through the Jiangnan spring rain. In his hand, the long sword was like a fan, gently sweeping through, and the heads of 14 tumbling Enlightenment realm giants flew off simultaneously. "Master," Feng Jai smiled lightly, "you found the right method. Killing in the Enlightenment realm is just a thought away, right? Later, we will discuss the issue of titles properly." Hua Maioi smiled beautifully, moved her feet, and led everyone out of the heavenly yin-yang chaos array. Her hand flipped, a palm fell from the sky, and a giant python turned into meat paste. Feng Jai raised her hand. A sword fell, splitting a mountain beam in half, and over 10 observing heaven were annihilated by a single sword. 10, no, 11 Enlightenment realm combat powers descended from the sky, and in a brief time, the disciple team below was completely cleared. "Master! Sect Master!" Countless voices rang out, carrying excitement and sobbing. These were Kun Kang cultivators. For them, this battle was the most tragic of their lives. Kun Kang had over 600 people participating in the battle, half were killed, and the Qianlong gold medal also had participants, with over 10 dying. Even though their fight was intense, it wasn't the deciding factor, as the deciding factor was the Enlightenment realm. On this side, the Enlightenment realm won, and with a wave, all enemies could be annihilated. Even such a fierce beast python could be wiped out by the Enlightenment realm with a flip of the palm. Saintess Kyan Ling, with white clothes stained with blood, fluttered over. Congratulations. She faced Feng Jai. Beside her was Dawa, whose face was grayish at this moment, in a very abnormal state, but this grayish was slowly changing. A person on the right leaped up, landing in front of Feng Jai. Senior sister, you entered the Enlightenment realm right under our noses, becoming a senior master. It was Hu Ya. You too can achieve it. Feng Jai's heart was pounding a bit fast. For the past few days, she observed some things, feeling that these three women seemed very ambiguous with her husband. This Li Dayandian, especially strong physically, was called Hu Ya by her husband, a member of Qianlong, but unlike other Qianlong, she acted quite casually in front of her husband. This blonde girl had a peculiar aura, originally not from Daxia country, had been lured by her husband. As for Dawa, she had even more interactions with her husband, with the moon in the sky becoming their specific term. Truly fortunate, her husband was like a living, seductive robot placed on the bed, always available but never exploiting the darkness, a true gentleman. Otherwise, these three young beauties might have a calamity in their fate. A battle competed for merit, yet the road ahead remains long. Hua Maioi said, there are indications that this is only the outer sect force of Heiyuan sect. Next, the battle will probably be even more difficult. Upon hearing this, all the Enlightenment realm's hearts turned cold. Indeed, this battle just passed was the fiercest one in everyone's life. Everyone fought desperately, gained the rarest soldiers, and achieved the best results. However, these enemies were merely a squad sent by Heiyuan sect. A casually dispatched team had over 10 Enlightenment realm, over 1,000 observing heaven. How strong must this mountain gate be? What will they face next? Whoosh, the wing blade emerged. Lin Zaiasu stepped on the wing blade, smiling. Let me announce some news. The Heiyuan sect has been destroyed. Destroyed, Huamaoi exclaimed. Everyone was greatly shaken. A single super nuclear bomb accurately hit Heiyuan sect, completely destroying Heiyuan sect. Completely destroyed, Feng Jai ascended into the air. Even Enlightenment realm couldn't escape. At least those in the Enlightenment body realm, as long as within Heiyuan sect, couldn't escape. Everyone in the Enlightenment realm looked at each other. This is the super weapon of the outside world. With just one, it can destroy a sect, regardless of how many Enlightenment realms it has. If they are within the explosion range, indiscriminate destruction will ensue. The true trump card of the outside world finally showed itself. Heaven bear witness, since Leng Qingquan died under a missile, they've held a deep fear of the super weapons of the outside world. They also have a deep fear of what Lin Zaiasu said. Lin Zaiasu had told them it was merely a conventional missile. If it were a thermobarometric bomb, if a nuclear bomb, Kun Kang would need only 10. Today, it's this kind of super weapon. Just one, and nobody knows how many Enlightenment realm and Heiyuan sect were directly destroyed. The power of this weapon exceeds their imagination. Thankfully, they stand on the same side now. The stronger the outside world's weapon, the more at ease they feel. Don't be overly optimistic, a voice came from below. According to the normal reasoning on the cultivation path, a sect capable of having so many Enlightenment body realms must have those beyond Enlightenment body. Once breaching into Enlightenment God realm, it's not easy for secular physical means to annihilate it, even a nuclear bomb. It was Saintess Kyan Ling speaking. Everyone's hearts jumped fiercely. They are all towering beams on the cultivation path, also figures of sect master level. They understand deeply that Saintess Kyan Ling's words are the golden rule for establishing a sect. Chapter 591, Chapter 590, Feng Jai forces open the reincarnation sect. On the cultivation path, strength is respected. In a sect, if there is no town vault stone higher than others by one major realm, it's impossible to gather many experts. Conversely, Heiyuan sect, having so many in the Enlightenment body realm, surely has some in the Enlightenment God realm, or even higher. Once one breaks into Enlightenment God realm, possessing the primordial spirit, they cannot be completely destroyed by physical means. The greatest advantage of the primordial spirit is immunity to all physical attacks. Even if their physical form is completely destroyed, the primordial spirit still remains. The horizon suddenly trembled slightly. A human figure ascended to the sky. This figure rose, and it was 1,000 feet Dharma body. With the appearance of the Dharma body, everyone's hearts sank as if into an icy abyss. This was an old man in white, whose physical body was completely shattered, yet his Dharma body was lifelike without any hint of true yuan fabrication, resembling a real 1,000-foot flesh body. This is the characteristic of the Enlightenment God realm. In the Enlightenment body realm, the true essence transforms, forming the body's outline with true yuan, which appears to be a 1,000-foot outline. However, to those with sharp eyes, the body is the body, true yuan is true yuan, clearly discernible at a glance. While the Enlightenment God realm, the primordial spirit fuses with the flesh from the foundation to expand the physical form. His expansion is a real expansion. One real, one false, the combat power difference is vast. Lin Xiaosu's heavenly Tao wisdom eye firmly locked onto the person in front. This person is very different from Chaos Heaven Ancestor from that day. Feng Jai said, although Chaos Heaven Ancestor is Enlightenment God realm, his physical body couldn't perfectly merge with the primordial spirit, strictly speaking, not a true Enlightenment God. Lin Xiaosu nodded slowly. Perhaps what he lacked was this opportunity of Dawa. Till now, Lin Xiaosu had seen 3 types of Enlightenment God. Venerable Hydra Snake primarily had a separation of spirit and body, making him the easiest to kill. Chaos Heaven Ancestor had some degree of fusion, but lacked physical energy to achieve high-level balance with the primordial spirit, unable to manifest such a 1,000-feet body. He might boldly speculate that Chaos Heaven Ancestor targeted Dawa to extract energy for high-level fusion with his primordial spirit. And today, this Heiyuan Sex Enlightenment God scene is a perfect form of Enlightenment God. Boom! The Enlightenment God in the sky stomped a foot, and a distant mountain shattered with a roar. Next step, this person appeared before everyone. Those who destroy my sect, you all shall live worse than death. 12 words descended from the void, and the scene escalated to the peak of killing intent. Attack together, Hua Maioi called loudly. Her whole body, flowers bloomed magnificently. The flowers centered around her seemed to cover the entire wilderness. And she is the center of the flowers. With a swoosh, countless flowers simultaneously rose, transforming into a true essence giant palm, striking toward this Enlightenment God. This attack, beautiful and domineering both. The 9 sect leaders beside her simultaneously expanded their figures, true yuan transforming into swords, knives, even feet, attacking the Enlightenment God expert together. Perhaps this was the first time these sect leaders jointly attacked in their lives. Yet their joint attack faced no psychological barriers, naturally, because the opponent was a perfect state Enlightenment God. There's also a gap between Enlightenment Body Realm and Enlightenment God Realm. Though the gap isn't as big as between observing heaven and Enlightenment Body, the disparity is still despairingly vast. The Enlightenment God expert suddenly raised his right hand. That hand, flesh-blurred, still bearing numerous scars from the nuclear bomb battlefield. However, just one strike, the Kun Kang Ten Wus simultaneously retreated. Swoosh! The bloody giant palm suddenly extended, transforming into a blood-red long knife, piercing through the void, directly aimed at Hua Maioi. In front of Hua Maioi, the flowers suddenly layered densely, transformed into an impenetrable protective wall. This was her strongest defensive stance, Beihua Ruzuo. Yet as the bloody giant palm passed, the wind swept the leaves, all flowers fell together, unable to resist at all. Hua Maioi's delicate body trembled, her complexion already lost color. Silently, suddenly an other shore flower appeared before her. Upon the appearance of the other shore flower, 1,000-foot distance opened between the bloody giant claw and Hua Maioi. She suddenly lifted her head, seeing Feng Jai in front. Feng Jai's long hair fluttered upwards, a long sword pointing straight at the Enlightenment God 1,000 feet away. Reincarnation Sword Wei. The Enlightenment God opposite sneered. Pity your cultivation is weak. Eventually it's a mantis trying to stop a cart. The claw suddenly rotated. In that rotation, the other shore flower shattered. Feng Jai gave a muffled groan, plummeting downward, her figure rapidly shrinking. Just as she was about to fall directly from high altitude, suddenly, wing blade cut across. Lin Xiaosu caught her. Feng Jai's gaze lifted, light suddenly shining in her eyes. Because she saw the flying car. The flying car arrived 10 miles behind the Enlightenment God's realm. The heavenly yin-yang chaos array is about to form. This isn't controlled by Lin Zaiasu. Lin Zaiasu had already transferred controlling rights to Qianlong number 8. Outside, Qianlong number 8 was inwardly excited indescribably, having just completed a splendid array battle, obliterating dozens of Enlightenment Realm experts akin to heavenly gods from Heiyuan sect. Now facing an even stronger opponent, he didn't delay for even a second, controlling 36 flying cars to initiate a new encirclement. This is a team battle. Let this rustic see the Qianlong tactics. Yet the Enlightenment God suddenly shook a bloodstained piece of clothing. With a swish, the clothing broke through the air, transforming into a flying knife across the sky. Boom! That flying car shattered into pieces. Outside, number 8's face changed dramatically. Feng Jiai's breath also suddenly halted. One array base broke. In a short time, there's no possibility of forming the heavenly chaos array. Big trouble looms. Various Enlightenment Realm experts also clearly saw this scene. Everyone's heart rate accelerated simultaneously. Since folded space opened, it was always the array at work, repeatedly achieving impossible reversals. Now the array shattered. Hua Maioi yelled, "Kun Kang comrades, fight with all your might, battle to the death." Kill! The Kun Kang 10 Wus simultaneously went berserk. However, the Enlightenment God in the sky twirled his body, causing 2 sect masters to be flung away. With a strike of his claw, one sect master was knocked to the ground. With a kick, Hua Maioi soared into the distance. It seemed like a siege, but in fact it was like a strong man confronting 10 toddlers. "Husband, do you have any more cards up your sleeve?" Feng Jiai's voice was as light as a sigh. Lin Zaiasu lifted his gaze, landing on the wing blade. The wing blade in the sky was the last trump card. However, whether the heavenly sword transformed from the third form of the wing blade could truly slay the Enlightenment God, he was entirely unsure. At that moment, his heart suddenly trembled violently, because he saw 7 more figures rising above the Heiyuan ruins. Each statue stood tall and majestic. Each one was vividly alive. Among them was one figure, with an ancient star river behind him, the star river ebbing and flowing, making him resemble a celestial immortal elder of the universe. If common sense is not wrong, this one might have surpassed the Enlightenment God realm, stepping into Enlightenment rules. Feng Jai sprang up. Staring at the 7 giant shadows in the northwest sky, her breathing abruptly stopped. She had asked one question, "Husband, do you have any more cards?" The husband didn't answer, but the look in his eyes wasn't cold. Perhaps he really did have more, for instance, the move that killed Kai Lion. 11 Enlightenment Realm Masters forcibly destroyed the opponent's body, and he would do the finishing stroke to annihilate the opponent's primordial spirit. However, seeing the newly appeared 7 giant shadows in the northwest corner, Lin Zaiasu's body stiffened. This was definitely not something they could handle. This was the disparity in power. In the face of absolute strength, there were simply no tactics. No matter how ingenious the strategy, no matter how many trump cards, they faced an impassable chasm. "Husband, promise me one thing," Feng Jai said. "What?" "In the vast Jianghu of the future, if you see a woman with the reincarnation seal, no matter how she looks, you must try to approach her, interpret her." "Why?" "Because that person might be me." As Feng Jai's voice fell with a roar, she soared into the sky. With this charge, even the mighty Lin Zaiasu was directly suppressed. With this charge, she directly rushed to face the Enlightenment God realm expert. She stood in front of Hua Maioi, also blocking the scattered Kun Kang 10 Wus. "Junior, coming to court death too, how wonderful." The Enlightenment God expert raised his hand and struck down with a palm. Feng Jai's hair suddenly flew up, and the ghost mask that never left her face flew into the air, while 2 mysterious reincarnation seals also flew up simultaneously. At this moment, her voice seemed to come from the endless void of time and space. "In the world of humanity, parting is bitter. How can one willingly enter reincarnation now?" The claws of the Enlightenment God before her had just struck out. Suddenly his whole body shook, and before him a door appeared in the void. In the door, vengeful ghosts wailed, shaking the earth and the heavens. His primordial spirit trembled all over, feeling ultimate fear, and with a swish, the Enlightenment God turned to flee. However, the door behind him suddenly expanded. This expansion covered the entire northwest sky, including him. The 7 enlightenment gods who had just risen from the Heiyuan ruins had their faces completely change. Reincarnation Gate. Sacrifice by blood, enter the game. 6 paths return on the reincarnation road. The Heiyuan sect master tightened his whole body. With a swish, a hand suddenly grasped Lin Zaiasu, this hand cold as ice. She wants to perish together with Jade. Saintess Kyan Ling. Lin Zaiasu's heart tightened fiercely, senior sister. With a step, the wing blade pierced the sky, and he shot towards Feng Jai in the air. Meanwhile, Hua Maoi also looked utterly shocked. Feng Jai do. As Feng Jai raised her hand, other shore flower bloomed. This move of the other shore flower bloomed behind her, blocking Lin Zaiasu and Hua Maoi. At this moment, she seemed far away from Lin Zaiasu and Hua Maoi, as if separated by 1,000 miles. On the other shore flower on the distant horizon, she slowly turned back. On her cheek was a strange crimson, just like the most beautiful flower in late spring, about to fall from the branch. Husband, in this cycle of reincarnation, meeting you, I have no regrets. Remember what I said in the next cycle, you must find me in the vast sea of humanity. Feng Jai smiled charmingly. Her smile was infinitely enchanting. Her beauty, never before seen in this life. Because at this moment, she truly had flesh on her face. And at this time, there were no longer reincarnation seals on her face. The 2 reincarnation seals she had been longing to remove transformed into the 2 rapidly spinning heaven and earth wheels before her, slowly opening a gate that made every cultivator's heart tremble. Reincarnation Gate. The hearts of everyone present were all hanging high. With blood as sacrifice, enter the game, activate the supreme magic on the reincarnation road, 6 paths return. She was the highest in cultivation among the people of this realm. She was the heavenly pride who could kill an enlightenment realm upon just entering it. Yet faced with an utterly irresolvable deadlock. Faced with the husband she found in the mortal world, to whom she had no regrets. She chose to mark the end of this life's reincarnation and entrusted the hope of meeting him to the next cycle. Is this beauty? Or is this sorrow? Everyone present was completely breathless. Even Huya, upon hearing the term husband, which made her heart extremely sensitive, lost her sensitivity, becoming utterly stunned. Chapter 592, Chapter 591, The Mad Taoist Takes Action, $300 per kill. Husband, I'm sorry, this is the first time I've pushed you away from my side. I promise, in the next reincarnation I will never do so. Feng Jai's hair suddenly lifted. With a whoosh, everyone behind her fell away simultaneously. At this moment, she seemed to have stepped into a whole new realm once again. At the last moment of her life, her cultivation nirvana. Hua Maoi fell, Kun Kang Tenwu's fell. The winged blade beneath Lin Zaiasu's feet also flipped and fell. For the first time in his life, his mind went completely blank. Suddenly a voice came. "Wanna make a deal? 300 yuan each, I'll take them down for you." Lin Zaiasu turned around abruptly. Behind him, an old Taoist priest stood. Tashin Mad Taoist. The Mad Taoist was carrying a scarecrow on his shoulder. Lin Zaiasu's eyes widened at once. How could he appear here? Kid, your wife is about to die. You need to make a quick decision. 300 yuan each is pricey, but as an expert in cultivation, my work is worth the money. The Mao Ren aren't easy to deal with, do it or not. One word. Do it, Lin Zaiasu said. The Mad Taoist laughed heartily. Ha, I'm going to make a fortune. With a wave of his hand, the Mao Ren on his shoulder shot up into the sky with a whoosh. With this surge, the reincarnation gate created by Feng Jai suddenly closed directly. The 2 reincarnation seals, serving as gatekeepers, swiftly returned to Feng Jai's face with a swish. Feng Jai's whole body trembled, her eyes opened wide, her form rapidly shrinking from a 1,000-foot Dharma body, falling from the sky, caught by Hua Maoi's outstretched hand. Feng Jai's eyes closed, her entire being, the faintly radiant light slowly receded. The 8 Master Enlightenment God experts of the Heiyuan sect struggled desperately in front of the reincarnation gate, when suddenly, the gate closed. They were relieved just as they had 1 foot on the Nei bridge. This wave of relief was simply endless. I said, how could a mere girl open the supreme law of the reincarnation road? Turns out it was a forced attempt. After all, she couldn't sustain it. The sect master exhaled a long sigh. Sect master, eliminate them completely. Wipe them out. This seat will make that world truly feel the doomsday to avenge the destruction of my Heiyuan. Kill. 8 enlightenment gods stepped forward simultaneously. This step down, as if even the heavens and earth could not bear it. However, the scarecrow in the sky suddenly shattered with a boom. Countless straws rose into the air, shooting straight to the heavens. Above the firmament, each straw was burning, the flames transforming into countless giant spears. In an instant, the entire sky was filled with giant spears. A terrifying, world-destroying aura enveloped the entire folded space. Heavenly burning spear, impossible, the sect master cried out, his voice full of fear and disbelief. Boom! Above the heavens, 10,000 spears fell together. The northwest sky turned into a sea of fire. In Zaiasu, with his heavenly Tao wisdom, I saw clearly. All 8 enlightenment gods were completely destroyed, including their physical bodies, also including their primordial spirits. He even saw the sect master, with 10,000-mile-long star rivers behind him and clearly superior to an enlightenment god like an immortal elder, have his primordial spirit run away first but still got pierced by a spear, turning to dust. This round of spear rain not only killed these 8, but also fell upon the Heiyuan ruins, penetrating the soil. If there were any other survivors of the Heiyuan sect, they probably wouldn't have escaped this supplementary spear either. Facing such level of experts, merely a scarecrow. Tashin mad Taoist, who exactly is he? The whole scene completely petrified, including the Kun Kang Ten Wus led by Hua Maioi. Lin Zaiasu slowly turned his body, looking at the mad Taoist beside him. The mad Taoist scratched his head. I actually killed not just 8 but 13, so your payment should be 3,900 yuan. 3,900 yuan, no 10,000, Lin Zaiasu asked. 10,000? What do you take this old Taoist for? A profiteer taking advantage of a fire. I said 300 each means 300 each. Dare to deny the debt, this old Taoist will kill you. The mad Taoist got upset. QR code or cash? Everyone looked at each other, then looked again. Lin Zaiasu reached out his hand. In his palm was a stack of red bills, 10,000 yuan. Directly slapped into the hands of the mad Taoist. The extra is a tip. The mad Taoist's face beamed with joy. Haha, the extra isn't even a tip, it's your consultation fee, according to the rate I told you last time, 10 yuan per word. If you have any questions, ask quickly. He truly stuffed the bills into his shabby pocket, pressing down on them with utter happiness. All right, I've asked, how is my senior sister? Lin Zaiasu asked. Rest assured, since this humble Taoist has taken action, there will naturally be no regrets. Not only is her foundation intact, but she may also gain from this misfortune, touching the threshold of the primordial spirit in advance. Lin Zaiasu's heart was truly at peace. The next question went straight to the point. Who exactly are you? Red flag. Lin Zaiasu's eyes widened suddenly. Red flag. You think with this old Taoist's talent, red flag should not be able to contain me, right? The mad Taoist said. Well, that indeed is the case. Red flag. The leader of the red flag, Lin Zaiasu, has seen them before. To him, the red flag has always been a regular force. Within the red flag, is there really a superhuman who can effortlessly kill 13 enlightenment of God experts like chickens? How can a small red flag accommodate such a great Buddha? This poor Taoist, also think it can't be accommodated, but I lost a bet to that villain Lu Yun back in the day, so I had to humble myself and join the red flag for 10 years. Huh. The mad Taoist suddenly raised his gaze, staring at the Heiyuan ruins with a peculiar expression. What is it? The mad Taoist raised his hand and grabbed Lin Zaiasu. Kid, let's go take a look. The next moment, he took a step forward, rising into the air with Lin Zaiasu, traversing hundreds of miles in an instant, landing atop the Heiyuan sect ruins. This ruin was blasted into disrepair by a nuclear bomb. Theoretically, there should be extreme radiation here. But he didn't feel anything unusual, only because the mad Taoist was beside him, naturally forming a protective barrier. Meanwhile, on the battlefield just moments ago, Hua Maioi held Fengjai, lost in thought. Lord Hua, can you discern the cultivation of this? This senior, Li Changjiang beside her asked. A mere scarecrow transformed into the heaven-burning sword, easily slaying 8. No, 13 enlightenment of God experts. He is probably someone at the end of the enlightenment realm. Hua Maioi replied. Who would have thought that the secular world could still harbor such a powerful being at the edge of the enlightenment realm? The giants of the Enlightenment realm looked at each other in dismay, not daring to speak. Someone at the end of the Enlightenment realm was akin to the venerable heavenly immortal to them. Even gossiping about him behind his back was not something they dared do lightly, because this powerful being seemed a bit insane, charging 3,900 yuan for killing 13 masters. Even though they might not frequent this world, they knew 3,900 yuan was just a day's spending for the wealthy. Such achievements could easily demand 39 million, so asking just 3,900 yuan was evidence of definite mental instability. "Sister Catherine," Dawa whispered, "is this battle considered over?" The Saintess Qian Ling said, "In theory it has ended. Currently, as the aura of the heavenly Tao is still merging, the realm of mastery is unlikely to emerge, and with holding the way not appearing, theoretically, this mad Taoist is the peak of combat power. With him here, this defense line is likely secured. This defense line of ours has had many twists and turns, but what's happening at the other two locations?" The Saintess Qian Ling slowly turned her head, looking back at the sky behind her. This piece of folded space has opened, and the aura from both sides is gradually merging. The world is finally becoming what he once said it would become. On that snowy night he had asked her, "In theory, this world will become the way you are familiar with it. Do you wish for that?" She answered, "I do not wish for it." And he asked again, "Why not?" She answered, "Because you do not wish for it." The exchange on the shores of Tashan Lake, and that fancy ancient poem he casually recited. "Today we are already drenched in snow, this life we might as well grow old together." The lingering emotions seemed to remain from the night before. Today, everything is moving steadily in this direction, whether he and she wish for it or not. This world, as Dawa said, had many twists and turns, fully demonstrating the terror of the ancient wilderness breaking the realm. They had put in such hard effort, and with the great powers at the end of the Enlightenment realm emerging, they successfully completed the defense of Liu Lin Temple's folded zone. What about the other two places? There's no news at the moment. Can the situation be as optimistic as at Liu Lin Temple? She doesn't think so. How many mad Taoists can there be in the world? Even in the ancient great world, a man like the mad Taoist is not ordinary. Let's shift our focus upwards and take a look at the situation in the other two places. By the South Sea, 10 warships, flying cars all around. This is an expansive ocean. A notice about the military exercise has been issued with no one around, and the planes redirected. Operations can be carried out boldly. At midnight, an anomaly occurred on the island that Lin Weiyang had been watching. Like curtains being drawn back, the winds and clouds belonging to the otherworld began to stir this land. On the warship, Blood Trace King beside Lin Weiyang suddenly raised his hand. All eyes gathered, watching as with the curtains being drawn back, the ancient world slowly revealed itself. Countless giants simultaneously raised their heads. Their eyes filled with vicious light. These were not humans, at least not in the conventional sense. These were Qi Jiao. What are Qi Jiao? The Jiao that tread the wrong path. A Jiao does not mate with long and slender things, but chooses to mate with hybrids of the Huang clan. In biological terms, this is called treading the wrong path. An offspring of such a hybrid is called a Qi Jiao. The Qi Jiao's gaze collectively rose to see the sky above, and suddenly became incredibly excited. With a roar to the sky, waves surged across the South Sea. Countless Qi Jiao leaped up, heading for the portal. They are too interested in fresh meat. Do not harbor any illusions about any creatures from the otherworld. Lin Weiyang said, "Blood Trace King, commence." Attack! Blood Trace King's hand fell sharply. 10 missiles shot out simultaneously. Boom! The first wave of Qi Jiao emerging from the portal soared high. Everyone on the warship had their eyes wide open. With such fierce missile attacks, these hybrids predominantly remained intact. It's terrifying. Plan number 1, execute. Blood Trace took a deep breath. Everyone's heart quaked. Plan number 1 is essentially the ultimate plan. Although Lin Weiyang consistently pushed for this plan, Qianlong did not directly adopt it, merely treating this as plan number 1 among many. However, with just a wave of missile test fire, Blood Trace King clearly knew that this plan had to be enacted. A fireball appeared on the horizon. Hypervelocity nuclear missile. Chapter 593. Chapter 592. The South Sea and Southern Border Defensive Lines. The mushroom cloud rose. If this small island were still the original small island, this mushroom could probably render it barren. But now, the island had expanded from its original area of less than 10 square kilometers to well over 100 kilometers in length and width. Even though it couldn't directly cover the island, the power of the mushroom cloud still made the Kun Kang big shots represented by Li Chushui's heart race wildly. Ordinary missiles could only create a high wave, unable to tear apart the flesh of Qi Jiao. Yet in the blindingly bright light, it vaporized directly, and the shock wave dismembered all Qi Jiao within 100 miles radius. With such strong power, what can survive it? However, the process of opening folded space continued, and the island kept expanding. Beyond 100 miles, Qi Jiao still crowded densely. The original plan called for 10 missiles, right? 10 might not be enough, Lin Weiyang said. Indeed, it seems insufficient, Blood Trace King responded. Fortunately, we had the professor's advice. Otherwise, no one could have guessed that just this space alone would require over 10 nuclear bombs. How many did you prepare? Lin Weiyang refused to accept praise, only focusing on what he valued most. Enough, Blood Trace King grinned. Above the sky, 9 massive fireballs shot simultaneously and crashed heavily onto the island, causing giant mushroom-shaped clouds to surge upward, followed by 9 more clouds rising at the same time. They were distributed erratically within the newly fully open space. The rising clouds were very peculiar, as if something above them blocked them, rolling within a transparent space, perfectly unleashing the nuclear bomb's maximum power. On the island ravaged repeatedly by shock waves, organisms vaporized, vegetation turned to ash, mountains split open, valleys filled in, even boulders became glass-like. What is the situation inside now? Lin Weiyang asked. Just wait a moment, Blood Trace King replied. About an hour later, a giant bird flew out from the inner space of the island. Its speed was so fast, it was incredible. With a swish, the flying bird landed on the warship, folded its wings, transforming into a robot, unexpectedly the wing blade. This wing blade, originally owned by Qianlong. Currently, there are 3 wing blades globally, fittingly 1 per folded space. Now, this wing blade from the South Sea belonged to Qianlong as a public asset. Using it in the same manner as Lin Ziaosu, providing missile navigation by positioning itself, then dodging at top speed after the missile explosion, diving deep to capture the situation inside, and returning to deliver first-hand information to those outside. This first-hand information was rather shocking. Inside were towering peaks, exceedingly majestic. Inside were deep valleys, filled with countless exotic beasts. Not only Qi Jiao, but also a large bird capable of flight, sporting 2 pairs of wings, body covered with azure scales, a beak sharp as a blade, wingspan extending beyond 10 yards. Wing Blade's intrusion into the bird group triggered their attack. The Wing Blade's AI judged it was outmatched and immediately returned. From the images it brought back, these birds also harbored intentions to cross the boundary. Li Wan, Lin Weiyang shouted, quickly seal them off. These birds are more dreadful than the Qi Jiao. Upgrade Plan 1. Blood Trace King motioned with a hand, activate. Wing Blade soared again, re-entering the battlefield. Another wave of 10 missiles followed. The second wave of cleanup, the ancient Li Wan, death and injury rampant. Yet still, there were some that slipped through the net. Suddenly, giant birds flew up from the island, precisely the ancient Li Wan brought back by Wing Blade, shocking everyone. Li Wan suddenly appeared within the mushroom-shaped clouds, showing a ferocious aura upon emergence. Suddenly, above the island, 36 flying cars appeared. Golden lines intersected, and the heavenly yin-yang chaos array emerged from nothing, enveloping the entire island. Li Wan charged out from folded space, driven by bloodthirst, plunging into this ancient strange array instantly and rapidly plummeted. Bullet rain poured from 10 giant warships, showering the falling Li Wan, finally staining the sea with blood. Qi Jiao are crossing the boundaries too, the data arrived. Blood Trace King pointed a finger, revealing a scene that made scalps tingle, countless black dots swarming out from the island, spreading in various directions. Team 2, go. With the order given, over 100 flying cars charged out, deploying 4 arrays around the island, all heavenly yin-yang chaos arrays. Qi Jiao plunged into the arrays, just like Li Wan, wailing all around, teetering on collapse. On the giant warships, full firepower finishing shots. Yet suddenly, a giant shadow broke the water from beneath. Unexpectedly, a Qi Jiao escaped from the crevices of the island. Close up, this creature was terrifying, towering 10 meters, a head as large as a bus, opening its bloodthirsty mouth, turning the cool sea breeze into scorching wind. The warriors, well-trained, opened fire immediately, but even with bullets directly into Qi Jiao's mouth, they still couldn't inflict a fatal injury. Just then darkness enveloped the scene, as a true essence giant hand seized Qi Jiao, tearing it in two. Precisely Li Chushui. Li Chushui activated Kun Kang Enlightenment Realm, hunting the ones that slipped through the net. Over 30 Enlightenment Realm practitioners split space in one step, spreading around the whole island, to hunt the Qi Jiao emerging from gaps between four killing arrays immediately. If any slipped through further, Kun Kang's Peeping Heaven Masters filled the gaps. Peeping Heaven Masters paled in comparison. One was insufficient to handle a raging Qi Jiao, often requiring 3 to 4 joining forces, enduring arduous battles, finally slaying one. The battle was increasingly intense. Ding Ryushui stood in the water, using it as a support point, secret realm activated, linked with the nearby South Sea, forming a 10-meter diameter defensive circle. Qi Jiao entered it. She manipulated the water flow with 9 heavenly stars turning into swords, twisting and throttling, seeming to have the upper hand. But inside she felt chilled. Ancient Crossing, so terrifying, our side fired dozens of nuclear missiles battling fiercely. What about his side? Little hubby, please don't have any mishaps. Absolutely don't. Southern border, Conch Valley. The battle also commenced simultaneously. Nuclear bombs, a weapon of deterrence that is rarely used, were deployed in the very first stage. The initial shock gave everyone the feeling that no matter how many enemies there were, or how strong they were nothing in front of nuclear bombs. However, very soon, the folded space continued to open, and more fierce beasts kept emerging. Continuing to cleanse them with nuclear bombs, after cleansing more appeared. 7 rounds of nuclear bomb cleansing. The number of fierce beasts killed is unknown. However, new ones kept emerging, surpassing the dust and attacking the outside. 36 flying cars soared through the air, with the heaven and earth yin-yang chaos array as the second round. However, some still slipped through the net. Kun Kang Enlightenment Realm took action, suppressing everything. Suddenly, on a peak 100 miles away, an enormous figure soared into the sky, 100 at once. Blue Demon's face changed completely. 100 Enlightenment Realm. Is it still timely for another round of nuclear bombs? It's too late, shouted Zhu Ying from beside Qianlong 9. All Kun Kang seniors, even if Jade and stones are burned together, we must defend and kill. Whoosh! A stunning sword light swept across the long sky as Lu Sanqian stepped forward, using his ice sword as the base, layer by layer of true yuan added, forming 100 jang long sword. One sword to sever separation, slashing towards an Enlightenment Realm figure. The Enlightenment Realm figure raised a blade. With a boom, a myriad of waves rolled between the two, both simultaneously retreated. 2 swords to sever emotion. Lu Sanqian's sword fell, uncompromising as if the heavens were collapsing. The opponent retreated 1,000 jang away. Enraged kill. With a swoosh, 3 people behind him stepped out simultaneously. 4 people pressed towards Lu Sanqian. Lu Sanqian's sword tip slightly dropped, 3 swords with Li Ren tears. With him as the center, within 10 miles became Misty Rain Jiangnan. 100 flowers withered, 1 flower flew. This flower shot towards one person, that person's dharma body shattered, falling into the void, and Lu Sanqian was also jointly knocked down from the sky by 3 people. His hair suddenly turned half-white. Father, Lu Rusi's soft silk rope, severing the head of a Peeping Heaven Master in front, flashed to his father's side. Sissy, this time it's probably impossible to return to Kun Kang. However, the Lu family descendants, Li Palace descendants, should be fearless of life and death, for complete righteousness. Boom! A shock under his feet within 100 jang. 3 fierce beasts, more than 10 Peeping Heaven opponents were simultaneously shocked to death. He soared into the air, above. It was the Misty Rain Jiangnan depicted by Li Ren tears. This depiction, both god and form, were complete. He was like a dismayed scholar from the ancient era, using the sword as his pen, blood as his base, writing his life's swan song. 100 flowers bloomed, blooming in his garden. 1 flower flew, filled with endless desolation. Whoosh! This flower shattered 3 Enlightenment Realm Dharma bodies, while he spat out a mouthful of fresh blood towards the sky. Once again fell. This fall he would never have the chance to soar again, because his Enlightenment Realm foundation was destroyed. Also because wave upon wave of fierce beasts, wave upon wave of enemies, had already surged down from the opposite side. All signs indicate the southern border defense line has collapsed. Blue Demon's eyes turned completely red. With a long howl, her body suddenly expanded, turning into a Tenjang-sized body. A shock under her feet, like an electric light shooting through the air. Boom! Her hand transformed into a claw of a fierce beast, clearly piercing through an Enlightenment Realm true Yuan body. However, the Enlightenment Realm's giant palm flipped, as if the world was overturning. Blue Demon involuntarily fell from the sky. As she fell, her body rapidly shrank. Her heart was utterly cold. She had already done her best, but faced with an insurmountable gap, she could not kill even a single Enlightenment Realm. The sky darkened. True Essence' giant hand descended from the sky, heading towards the falling Blue Demon. Miao Yin Heavenly King's zither string vibrated and broke. The sound of the string breaking, the bone-breaking sound, became the strongest subsonic of her life, stabbing towards the Enlightenment Realm in the sky. Unfortunately, even though she struck with all her might, she still couldn't stop the opponent in the slightest. In the sky, Blue Demon, her gaze fell towards Miao Yin. This last glance was extremely complex. Seems to linger, yet seems unwilling. Suddenly, a human shadow flew from the sky, fiercely embracing Blue Demon, hugging her while flying close to the ground, releasing the fierce impact, allowing her to land safely. Blue Demon's heart suddenly skipped a beat. Yixiang. Sister Lan, Yixiang's sentence was cut short because above her, that terrifying hand appeared again. Signs showed that Yixiang and Blue Demon were hard to escape calamity. Suddenly, a wild roar like a tiger or a lion. Chapter 594, Chapter 593, Guardian Divine Domain, Equality for All Living Beings. At the edge of the cliff, a small white cat leapt into the air. As it jumped out, it was clearly just a tiny white speck, but halfway through the leap, it suddenly transformed into a giant cat as big as a cow. Later, the giant cat swelled again, turning into a 30-foot-tall giant cat. Its sharp claws suddenly swiped down. The True Essence giant palm, which had reached Yixiang's head, was directly severed. Yixiang's eyes suddenly widened. Little Hu. Yes, this 30-foot giant cat in the air was clearly Little Hu, but at this moment, how could Little Hu still be the little white cat that once played in her lap? A pair of silver horns sprouted from its head, and its sharp blades were as long as a meter. Little Hu soared into the sky, tracing an exceptionally stunning afterimage. SSH. The Enlightenment Realm cultivator, who was attacking the Blue Demon, opened his eyes wide, his head rolling directly off his shoulders. His whole body shrunk to a normal size in an instant and fell from the sky. The first person to die in the Otherworld Enlightenment Realm had shockingly died under Little Hu's sharp claws. Lu Sanqian exhausted his own resources and could only wound 4 Enlightenment Realm cultivators, temporarily stripping them of their cultivation, while Little Hu directly killed 1. The other Enlightenment Realm cultivators were shocked. Aojai, how could there be an Aojai? Surround and kill it. 7 Enlightenment Realm cultivators simultaneously surrounded it, filling the space around Little Hu to the brim. Little Hu roared angrily at the sky, causing all the fierce beasts to lower themselves submissively. However, a combined strike by the 4 Enlightenment Realm cultivators made Little Hu fall from the sky. Laughter echoed from the sky. Turns out it's just a newborn Aojai. Capture it. Swoosh. Over a dozen True Essence claws fell from the sky at once. Aojai is not an ordinary thing. If it were fully matured, even the pinnacle of the Enlightenment Realm might not be able to capture it. At this moment, Aojai is just a juvenile beast, and it's indeed the best chance to capture it. Thus, the Enlightenment Realm cultivators in the sky all diverted their attention, with at least a dozen of them taking action against Little Hu immediately. At this moment, a white light flashed below. As the white light shone, the entire world suddenly turned into icy and snowy fields. The river water froze, and the land was covered in ice. The Blue Demon stared at the white speck on the rock in the valley, with the light emanating from it. Little Wu, that's Little Wu. Yixiang was stunned. Little Wu, are you going to join in too? You never used to fight. Little Wu raised his head and grinned at Yixiang, seemingly smiling. With this grin, its body suddenly expanded, and with this expansion, it was like a massive turtle mountain rising from the valley. Snowfield Guardian Holy Beast Snow Turtle. The Enlightenment Realm cultivators in the air simultaneously exclaimed, "How is this possible?" Little Wu slowly lifted his head. A breath. With this breath, the world completely changed. In the high sky, the giants of the Enlightenment realm who were in fierce combat suddenly felt their true yuan out of control, and their bodies shrank rapidly. Whoosh! They fell from the sky. No distinction between friend or foe. All fell. What's going on? This heavenly Tao has changed. It's not suitable for Enlightenment realm here. Why is this? Thump. An Enlightenment realm cultivator collided with the ground below, his whole body's blood and energy surging. He stared at little Wu and uttered 8 words. Guardian divine domain, all beings are equal. All the Enlightenment realm cultivators' faces changed greatly. Ordinary people wouldn't understand what this means, but they did. This is the exclusive domain of the Snowfield Guardian Holy Beast Snow Turtle. In its exclusive domain, it reverses the heavenly Tao. This snow-white turtle is the Snowfield Holy Beast Snow Turtle. It changed the heavenly Tao of this world, making this world the same as the outside world, no longer suitable for the Enlightenment realm. Not suitable for the Enlightenment realm. Lu Rusi, holding her father, her eyes suddenly lit up. It seems so indeed. Sister, let's go. Nearby came the voice of her brother, Lu Rufeng. The blue demon suddenly stood up, and behind her, Gushi's eyes also suddenly brightened. Miao Yin Heavenly King said, if it's truly not suitable for the Enlightenment realm, Blue Demon, you should be able to crush all enemies. Previously, the Blue Demon was a transformed king. Her track was not on the battlefield. However, Lin Zaiasu opened her creation gate, and her body can grow or shrink. Her combat power soared straight up. Her whole body can transform, and she can casually change into all kinds of weapons. Her combat power is much more magical than that of the past Jing Lei. Kill, the blue demon shouted. Her entire blood and energy suddenly surged, and her body once again transformed into a 30-foot-tall figure. SSH. She leapt forward and ahead, more than 10 peeping heaven masters blocked her way. The blue demon's figure flashed, almost like instant teleportation. SSH, more than 10 heads fell to the ground, and ahead was the Enlightenment Realm cultivator she was eyeing. Swoosh, this Enlightenment Realm cultivator suddenly turned his head. However, after just 3 steps with a flash of electricity, the blue demon's claws transformed into a meter-long blade, cutting across his neck. This Enlightenment Realm cultivator had his eyes wide open, completely unable to believe it. The blue demon's heart was beating frantically. This was her first time killing an Enlightenment Realm cultivator, and she absolutely couldn't believe she was capable of such a feat, let alone do it so effortlessly. Only because at this moment, the Enlightenment Realm cultivators could no longer exert the power of the Enlightenment Realm, having only the strength of a peak-level seer realm. And she, the blue demon, had already further undergone nirvana in the Heavenly King realm. The entire observing heaven realm was no longer her match. Her successful kill ignited the morale on the Kun Kang side. Lu Sanqian shouted, Kun Kang warriors attack. Swept back out. At this moment, he also lost his Enlightenment Realm combat power, yet in this environment, he still remained at the forefront of power, leading Li Palace followers in a counterattack. The thousands of people on the opposite side were momentarily stunned, seeing that they had already beaten this team to pieces, but now, the other side suddenly surged. Attack, a giant of the Enlightenment Realm shouted, raising his arm. The battle between the two sides immediately reached a fever pitch. Without Enlightenment Realm combat power, the air-dominated combat situation turned directly into a ground battle. Dangerous, cruel, full of crises. In terms of pure strength, those thousands of people still theoretically held a great advantage. However, when the real battle began, all theories were shattered in an instant. Blue Demon's figure flashed like electricity, charging forward, killing 7 Enlightenment Realm figures in a moment. Lu Sanqian's longsword danced, separation, severing emotion, Li Ren tears. The giants of the Enlightenment Realm without their true Yuan protection could only compete with him in Sword Dao. But how many could surpass Lu Sanqian in Sword Dao? 10 Enlightenment figures fell by his hand. Yet even together with Blue Demon, they couldn't compare to another figure. Well, not a person but Little Hu. Little Hu let out a roar skyward. All the fierce beasts in the opponent's camp crouched low, shivering, not daring to move, immediately neutralizing the threat of thousands of fierce beasts. Even more terrifying was its combat power. Within the Snow Turtle's guardian divine domain, it remained unaffected. It was still a peerless giant cat capable of slaying enlightenment realms, its sharp claws sweeping across indiscriminately, regardless of enlightenment or observing heaven, killing over 30 in an instant. Those enlightenment figures felt despair. They hated the snow turtle the most. "You snow turtle demon, why won't you just die?" However, the heavenly Tao had changed, and futile calls could not bring it back. An enlightenment realm giant shouted hoarsely, "Second brother, retreat." He meant to call his brother, but such a loud shout caused the entire team's morale to collapse instantly. "Run!" A group of thousands turned around and fled. Blue Demon increased her movement technique sharply, slaying one enlightenment after another in their escape. Chasing for 30 miles, suddenly, with a swish, a hand came from behind, grabbing her shoulder. Turning her head, Blue Demon saw Lu Sanqian. "King Lanchan, we can't chase anymore. We've already left the equalizing domain." Lu Sanqian's face was stern. The 7 or 8 remaining enlightenment bodies suddenly expanded dramatically. "Retreat!" Blue Demon's heart pounded, and with a wave of her hand, the pursuing team halted. Only Little Who leaped up, pouncing towards the sky. 3 enlightenment figures simultaneously raised their hands, and 3 giant palms pressed down together. Boom! Little Who was knocked back, landing on someone's shoulder behind it, turning back into a small white cat. Though its eyes still held a fierce light, it meowed softly, leaving everyone dumbfounded. The southern border defense line entered a wondrous dynamic balance. The snow turtle created a mystical domain, straddling the desolate ancient realm and the real world. This domain was called equalizing all beings. In this space, the heavenly Tao was incomplete, similar to the early real world. No matter how many enlightenment giants entered this region, they all became peak-level seers, unable to exert enlightenment realm combat power. Of course, their Kun Kang enlightenment realms faced the same fate. In such a situation, those below the enlightenment realm with truly formidable combat prowess became the kings of this domain. Like Blue Demon, she was not in the enlightenment realm, so her combat power was unaffected here. She was invincible below the enlightenment realm. Even against enlightenment figures, as long as they entered this domain, she crushed them like slaughtering chickens. In one fierce battle, she personally slew as many as 30 enlightenment figures. Such battle achievements were truly unprecedented. Miao Yin Heavenly King's remark transformed into a magical sound wave, quietly slipping into Blue Demon's ear, adding a bit of flair to the ruthless battlefield. "Little Sister Lan, the sleep you had with him during Spring Festival, its value continues to rise." Blue Demon rolled her eyes. "I know what you mean. Someday I'll create an opportunity for you, all right." "Are you being truthful?" Miao Yin's voice had a playful tone. "Oh my, you've lost fingers, the whole person has gone mad," Blue Demon said. "Can you find your severed fingers? I'll help you reattach them." The latter part wasn't transmitted but was directly spoken. "No need for the fingers," Miao Yin said. "I'll attach a black tech finger. I want to try something crazier." "Black tech finger? To pair with subsonics?" Blue Demon's eyes flickered. "It seems this might be a path as well." "Right, Lin Zios is always having wild ideas, and I've been inspired by him. By the way, what do you think their situation is over there?" Blue Demon gazed distantly at the sky. "With folded space opened and Earth's magnetic field altered, at least in the short term, while we are in this folded space, it is impossible to receive messages from the other side. Let me borrow a past phrase between me and him to send to you. As comrades in arms, the greatest cooperation is trust. Believe that he can always perform better than us, no matter the circumstances." The southern border defense line is arguably the most wondrous. With this equalizing domain, it virtually serves as the strongest defense against the otherworld. No matter what level of expert enters this 30-kilometer-wide defense line, there are ways to eliminate them. Little Who's super combat power, Blue Demon's invincibility below the enlightenment realm, and the young heavenly prides like Gushi, Lu Rusi, Lu Rufeng can all compete with top-level seers. Moreover, missiles and mines, these modern weapons, can turn this space into a ghost gate for any border crosser. Besides these, there is still the array. Miao Yin Heavenly King gently exhaled. "We've roughly determined this divine turtle's current limit, around a 30-kilometer span. If it could upgrade, that would be fantastic, transforming this changing world back to an unsuitable one for the enlightenment realm." Beside him, Lu Sanqian shook his head slightly. "Miao Tianwang's idea is beautiful, but that's impossible. The grand trend of the heavenly Tao's reversal has already begun, and it cannot be stopped. No matter how powerful the snowfield holy turtle might be, it cannot reverse the power of an entire world, and even the world it creates can still be broken when the holding the way emerges. Vision once again shifted from the southern border to view the region where Lin Zaiasu resided. The ruins of Heiyuan sect. Chapter 595. Chapter 594. Only 3 shots left. Amidst the ruins of the Heiyuan sect, a nuclear explosion had just taken place. The dense radiation made it a forbidden zone for living beings. However, Lin Zaiasu and the mad Taoist ventured into this death zone. Taoist, I really can't imagine that you'd be such an expert, Lin Zaiasu lightly sighed. I haven't hidden it from you. I've even pulled my ears every time to tell you I'm a master, the mad Taoist pouted. True, you even turn a fart into the music of the great Tao, indeed not hiding your greatness, even emphasizing your greatness repeatedly. But in today's society full of charlatans, you can't blame others for doubting, Lin Zaiasu said. Besides, you've been beaten by ordinary folks until you're bruised and battered. Your acting skills are certainly mature. That was at the end of last year. In the Yin Yuxia case, fighting over her inheritance, the mad Taoist jumped out saying Yin Yuxia's child wasn't the biological son of the legal father, was born from an affair, which led to a beating. If it was a typical blabbering Taoist, getting beaten up would be quite normal. However, is the mad Taoist ordinary? If he wished, a mere straw could obliterate the ancestors of Yin Yuxia for 18 generations. Why did he tolerate such humiliation? It had to be acting. It's truly not acting, said the mad Taoist. Not acting, Lin Zaiasu frowned. In this world, I can only take action 9 times. Earlier responsibilities of the red flag were fulfilled, 6 times have been used, leaving only 3 opportunities. How can I waste them easily on those people? The mad Taoist explained. Only 9 times, Lin Zaiasu's heart sank. Why? There's no why, it's because of cause and effect, said the mad Taoist. On the cause and effect plate I've clearly seen my destiny. Under this heavenly Tao, once I take action 9 times, my line of cause and effect will sever from reincarnation. Others might see this as mysterious, but not you. Your understanding of the law of cause and effect has some knowledge. You should know what I'm talking about. It's the absolute truth. Lin Zaiasu was startled. The law of cause and effect. The mad Taoist actually knew Lin Zaiasu had always been studying the law of cause and effect and had some basic understanding. The law of cause and effect, the most mysterious law among the heavenly Tao 7 techniques, Lin Zaiasu used it just once to perform a paternity test for Yin Yuxia's son. This might be wondrous in modern society, but it's not the true purpose of the law of cause and effect. The true purpose of the law of cause and effect is to spy. Spy on fate, to spy on cause and effect, to spy on past paths and future roads. Cultivators cannot disrupt cause and effect, but they can clearly see it, and knowing it allows them to avoid it. It's convoluted to talk about. It sounds very mysterious, but it's actually very cruel. For example, the mad Taoist with unmatched cultivation could originally traverse this heavenly Tao 100 times, but he spied on his own cause and effect. Under this heavenly Tao, he can only take action 9 times. After 9 times, he will sever his cycle of reincarnation. What does it mean to sever reincarnation? Eternal doom. That's why he doesn't dare to act easily. Taoist, you just acted once again, Lin Zaiasu remarked. Yes, that act was one of my remaining 3 opportunities. Now only 2 are left, so kid, asking you for $3,900 isn't demanding, the mad Taoist said earnestly. I never said you asked for too much. I always felt you asked for too little, Lin Zaiasu said. Why ask for so little? The mad Taoist chuckled. Asking for more or less isn't determined by you or me, but by its inherent value. 13 enlightenment god realms are worth just 3,900. If I ask for more, it would upset the market. The word market held profound meaning. That wasn't the original phrase. It's a term derived from the mad Taoist's time living in this world. Lin Zaiasu seemed to slightly understand. Everyone has their value. 13 enlightenment god realms carry just the weight of $3,900. It sounds cheap, yet it reflects a deep underlying concern. The upcoming world will be one where enlightenment is practically worthless. Taoist, in upcoming times this world will be exceedingly tough, and you're telling me you have only 2 chances to act. Lin Zaiasu felt somewhat dejected. It took great effort to find a towering beam. It took great effort to glimpse a thread of hope. Yet this supreme master found has only two chances to act. Indeed, so don't hold too high hopes for me, the mad Taoist said. Lin Zaiyasu gazed into his eyes that glimmered with unfathomable light, pondering internally. Is this old fox upping the ante, or laying the groundwork for future laziness? Although I can't do much for you, I can give you a helper, the mad Taoist added. Lin Zaiasu's heart leapt. What kind of helper? Do you know why I brought you here? Lin Zaiyasu looked around, finding no signs of life. Could it be there's some heavenly materials and earthly treasures here that can grant immense help? If there are, it would be normal, because this is the site of the Heiyuan sect headquarters. Every sect has its foundation. The downfall of a sect equates to massive opportunity restructuring. The mad Taoist said, for one reason only, just now with one move of my heavenly burning spear, I killed all living beings in this world. Among those strikes, an accident happened, it hit a person, yet the spear broke and left them unharmed. Lin Zaiyasu was greatly shocked. The gun shattered, but the person was unharmed. With just these 5 words, he could decipher the terror of this person. Under normal circumstances, if 2 people are evenly matched, a full-force strike will injure or even kill the opponent as long as it hits. His weapon hit the opponent, but the opponent was unharmed. This can only occur when there is a significant power gap between the 2 sides. In other words, Mad Taoist is not his opponent at all, and there is an overwhelming gap. This is too terrifying. The abilities of Mad Taoist have already surpassed all imagination. And yet there is someone far beyond him. Does that mean all today's victories are illusory? Where is he? Asked Lin Zaiyasu. I heard you're a pretty good detective. With your detective skills, where do you think he is? Mad Taoist smiled. This relaxed expression made Lin Zaiyasu instantly feel at ease. This doesn't seem like the expression of facing an opponent with a power gap. Is he testing my detective skills at this moment? Lin Zaiyasu said, Master, please retract your protective barrier. Mad Taoist furrowed his brow. Don't you know the atmosphere here is extremely abnormal? Your abnormal atmosphere can be explained as nuclear radiation, Lin Zaiyasu said. No worries, I can give it a try. All right then, since you're a practitioner of the rejuvenation technique, you won't die immediately. If you want to try, go ahead. If you can't handle it at worst, you can give me a few $1,000 and I'll save you. The protective barrier was opened. The terrifying radiation surrounded them completely. Lin Zaiasu's gate of creation opened directly. The radiation surged into the gate of creation, transforming into pure energy that infused his entire body. Lin Zaiasu's heartbeat accelerated instantly, and he could clearly feel his physical body rapidly strengthening. An ordinary person could last only a few minutes under such a high concentration of radiation, but he could actually use this nuclear radiation to strengthen his body. The gate of creation's ability to enhance the body is truly incredible. Although Mad Taoist seemed careless and indifferent to Lin Zaiyasu, when the protective barrier was opened, he focused entirely, watching Lin Zaiasu's reaction. Lin Zaiasu's reaction surprised him. Master, there's something I find very strange. What is it? Earlier, you said 13 Enlightenment God Realm individuals weighed only 3,900, but also said that if I couldn't handle the radiation, I'd need to spend thousands to ask you to save me. Can I understand that, in your value system, I'm worth far more than the sum of 13 Enlightenment God Realm individuals? Mad Taoist exhaled lightly. Kid, you're just realizing this now. You're saying I should have realized this absurd weight comparison earlier. Lin Zaiyasu squinted his eyes. Mad Taoist said, you haven't been listening attentively. I told you, under this heavenly Tao I can only act 9 times. Before today, I've already acted 6 times, and for whom were these 6 times? Do you still doubt your own value? Lin Zaiasu's eyes widened. Mad Taoist is the red flag. Even though his abilities and wonders completely exceed what the red flag can contain. However, he was persuaded by Lu Yun to take on the red flag's task, working for 10 years, and during these 10 years, he is the red flag. What does the red flag do? Lin Zaiyasu truly doesn't know what specific tasks are done elsewhere. But the red flag in Fengcheng has only one task: to protect his home, to protect the 2 little flowers in his detective agency. During his peripheral confrontations with the 9-headed snake, the 9-headed snake launched not just one attack on his home. Even Utopia people initiated attacks. These attacks came silently and unnoticed. His parents didn't know, Little Yi didn't know, Ryulen didn't know, Josei didn't know either. Therefore, Lin Zaiasu really didn't know how many times in total. Now he knows 6 times. Mad Taoist has acted 6 times. Can only act 9 times in his lifetime, and has already acted 6 times for one person. Then what is Lin Zaiasu's weight? Why? Do you think I'm so important, master? Lin Zaiasu was a bit moved. It's not me, it's Lu Yun, Mad Taoist sighed lightly. I was unfortunate to meet him. If you ever see him, pass on my regards to his ancestors for 18 generations. Master, why don't you greet him yourself? Isn't it because I can't find him? If I could find him, I'd be willing to use my last chance to act to kill him. Mad Taoist gritted his teeth. Lin Zaiasu, seeing his puffed-up angry expression, really wanted to bring up a provocative topic, like telling him that last year on the first day of the Lunar New Year, Lu Yun was less than a kilometer in a straight line from his cave, and he didn't even notice. Thinking about it, it's better to leave it. Detect. In the boundless radiation, Lin Zaiasu's primordial spirit became like an arrow, probing towards the ruins beneath his feet. Suddenly, his heart was shocked, and he abruptly raised his head. Kid, what did you discover? Mad Taoist asked. Array. Not bad, you can actually discover an array. Mad Taoist gently swung his Taoist robe. Boom! The soil beneath them moved away out of nowhere, and moved 100 meters away. Below, an underground palace appeared right before them.